Chapter 1, The Comet's Call. Scene 1, Setup. The command center of the International Space Exploration Consortium hummed with activity, a symphony of voices and electronic beeps underscoring the tension in the air. Holographic displays shimmered with images of the cosmos, each screen a window into the vast unknown that lay beyond Earth's atmosphere. Dr. Ilara Voss stood at the forefront, her eyes fixed on the largest display, a live feed from a satellite orbiting Mars. The room was a blend of sleek technology and human anticipation, a testament to both innovation and the timeless wonder that space inspired. As Ilara watched the comet 3I Atlas streak across the Martian sky, she felt a familiar flutter of excitement mixed with a tinge of apprehension. This celestial visitor, once a mere speck in the universe, had become a harbinger of change. "Ilara," came a voice from beside her, pulling her from her thoughts. Dr. Kalen Thorne, her colleague and occasional sparring partner in scientific debate, stood with arms crossed, his expression as inscrutable as ever. "Are we really ready for what this could mean?" Ilara turned to him, her mind racing with possibilities. "Ready or not, Kalen, the universe doesn't wait for us to catch up," she replied, a hint of a smile playing at her lips. "This is our chance to understand something monumental." Kalen shook his head slightly, his skepticism evident. "Or it's just another cosmic anomaly waiting to be explained away by science." Ilara chuckled softly, appreciating their familiar banter. "Perhaps, but isn't it exhilarating to think it might be more than that?" Their conversation was interrupted by an alert from one of the technicians. "Dr. Voss, Dr. Thorne," the young man called out. "The comet is on its final approach." Both scientists turned their attention back to the screen as 3I Atlas hurtled toward Mars, its tail a brilliant arc of light against the darkness of space. In that moment, Ilara felt a whisper of something intangible, a connection to the cosmos that defied explanation. As the comet made impact, Mars lit up in a breathtaking spectacle of colors and energy. The room fell silent, all eyes transfixed by the transformation unfolding before them. It was as if they were witnessing the birth of a new world. Scene 2, Confrontation. Later, in the quiet confines of Ilara's office, she and Kalen continued their discussion. The room was lined with books on ancient myths and modern science, reflecting Ilara's dual passions. A model of Mars sat on her desk, its surface now marked by fresh landscapes and possibilities. "Ilara," Kalen began, his tone more serious now, "I know you're fascinated by the idea of ancient intelligence or supernatural forces, but we need to stay grounded in reality." Ilara met his gaze evenly. "And what is reality, Kalen? Is it only what we can measure and quantify, or is it also what we feel, the whispers and echoes that science can't explain?" Kalen sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I get it, I really do. But we have to be careful not to let our imaginations run wild." Their eyes locked in a moment of silent understanding, two minds driven by different interpretations of truth, yet united by their quest for knowledge. "Maybe," Ilara conceded softly, "but sometimes it's those wild imaginings that lead us to the greatest discoveries." Kalen leaned back in his chair, contemplating her words. He knew Ilara was right in her way. History was full of breakthroughs born from dreams deemed impossible. "All right," he said finally, a hint of resignation in his voice. "Let's see where this journey takes us." Scene 3, Resolution or Twist. As they prepared for their mission to Mars, Ilara and Kalen found themselves on the observation deck, gazing out at the stars. The vastness of space stretched before them, a canvas painted with endless possibilities. "Do you ever wonder," Ilara mused aloud, "if we're part of something greater than ourselves? That maybe these cosmic events are guiding us toward a deeper understanding?" Kalen hesitated before answering, his usual certainty wavering. I think I've always hoped so," he admitted quietly, "even if I couldn't bring myself to fully believe it." Ilara smiled at his admission, a small victory in their ongoing debate. She reached out and placed a hand on his shoulder, feeling the warmth of human connection amidst the cold expanse of space. "Whatever we find on Mars," she said softly, "let's promise to keep our minds open to each other and to whatever truths await us." Kalen nodded, an unspoken agreement passing between them. They stood together in silence, watching as the stars whispered their secrets across the void. Optional Scene 4, Aftermath Foreshadow. As Ilara lay in her quarters that night, sleep eluded her. Her mind buzzed with anticipation for what lay ahead, a journey not just to another planet, but into the heart of mystery itself. In the quiet darkness, she thought she heard a faint whisper, a voice carried on the winds of time and space. It spoke not in words, but in feelings, of hope and discovery, of connection and purpose. Alara closed her eyes, letting the whisper wash over her like a gentle tide. She knew that whatever awaited them on Mars would challenge everything they thought they knew. But she also knew that they were ready to embrace the unknown and find their place within it. With this thought cradling her mind like a lullaby, Alara drifted into a restless sleep filled with dreams of stars and whispers from beyond. Chapter 2. Collision Course. Scene 1. Setup. The Martian dawn unfurled in hues of violet and gold, casting an ethereal glow over the nascent landscapes that had sprung from the comet's cosmic touch. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the crest of a newly formed hill, her gaze sweeping over the alien terrain that lay before her like an uncharted map. The air was filled with a crispness that invigorated her spirit, whispering promises of discovery and renewal. Alara's mind was a symphony of questions and possibilities, each note resonating with her insatiable curiosity. The transformation of Mars was more than a scientific marvel. It was an enigma wrapped in cosmic intent. She felt the weight of her mission pressing against her like the gentle pull of gravity, an invitation to unravel the mysteries that danced just beyond her reach. Her thoughts were interrupted by the soft crunch of footsteps on Martian soil. Dr. Kalen Thorne approached, his expression a blend of skepticism and intrigue. He paused beside Alara, arms crossed as he surveyed the vibrant tableau stretching to the horizon. "You seem lost in thought," Kalen remarked, his voice carrying an edge of playful challenge. Alara smiled faintly, acknowledging his presence without turning. "Just contemplating the universe's audacity," she replied, her words laced with a mix of wonder and determination. "This place, it's like stepping into a dream." Kalen chuckled, a sound as dry as the Martian dust. "A dream or a delusion? I haven't decided yet." Their banter was familiar, a ritual dance between two minds that thrived on intellectual sparring. Yet beneath the surface lay an undercurrent of urgency, a shared understanding that their exploration was no ordinary mission. "The comet's elements," Alara continued, shifting the conversation towards their immediate goal. "They defy all known science. We need to understand what we're dealing with before others decide for us." Kalen nodded, his skepticism momentarily tempered by their shared purpose. "Agreed, but let's not forget how our instruments might reveal truths that our senses can't comprehend." Alara turned to him then, her gaze steady and earnest. "And if those truths challenge everything we know, then we'll have to redefine what we know," Kalen replied, his tone softening with genuine respect. Their exchange hung in the air, a seed planted amidst the Martian dawn, one that promised to grow into something profound and transformative. Confrontation. Later that day, inside the makeshift laboratory nestled beneath Martian cliffs, Alara and Kalen pored over holographic displays flickering with data streams. The room hummed with the energy of discovery, yet tension simmered beneath the surface like a dormant volcano. "These readings are extraordinary," Alara murmured, eyes fixed on the swirling patterns projected before them. "The elements within the comet, they're arranged with such precision. It's almost as if they were crafted deliberately," Kalen finished, his skepticism slipping momentarily into awe. Alara turned to him, her expression a blend of excitement and frustration. "We need to consider the possibility that this isn't just a natural phenomenon. What if there's an intelligence behind it?" Kalen hesitated, his scientific instincts warring with the evidence laid bare before him. "Alara, I want to believe you, but we can't jump to conclusions based on anomalies alone." "It's not just anomalies," Alara insisted, her voice gaining urgency. "It's patterns, Kalen, patterns that speak of intent." Their debate intensified, each argument layered with subtext and unspoken fears. For Alara, the notion of cosmic intelligence was not just a hypothesis, it was a connection to her father's legacy and the mysteries he had pursued until his disappearance. For Kalen, embracing such ideas meant confronting the limitations of his own understanding. As their voices rose in fervor, a sudden stillness enveloped the room, a silence so profound it seemed to pulse with its own heartbeat. Both scientists paused, glancing around as if sensing an unseen presence. In that moment, the air shimmered with an otherworldly luminescence, casting ghostly shadows that danced along the walls like echoes from another realm. The temperature dropped subtly, a chill that whispered across their skin. "Do you feel that?" Alara asked softly, her gaze searching for answers beyond the tangible. Kalen nodded slowly, his skepticism faltering in the face of something inexplicable. "I do," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. The ethereal presence lingered for a heartbeat longer before dissipating into nothingness, leaving behind an unsettling sense of wonder and unease. Scene 3. Resolution or twist. As night descended upon Mars, Alara found herself standing alone beneath the stars, those distant beacons that had guided humanity's quest for knowledge since time immemorial. Her mind raced with possibilities and doubts, each thought tinged with echoes of ancient myths and whispered legends. She closed her eyes, drawing in a breath that tasted of stardust and potential. In the solitude of that Martian night, she allowed herself to embrace both fear and hope, two sides of the same cosmic coin. When she opened her eyes again, Kalen stood beside her, his presence a silent testament to their shared journey. They exchanged no words. Instead, they gazed up at the heavens together, a united front against the unknown. In that quiet communion beneath the stars, something shifted between them, a subtle realignment of trust and understanding. They were explorers on a collision course with destiny, bound by curiosity and courage in equal measure. As they turned back towards their camp, Alara felt a newfound resolve settle within her, a determination to uncover truths hidden in whispers and shadows. Whatever lay ahead on this cosmic odyssey, she knew they would face it together. Optional Scene 4, Aftermath Foreshadow. In the early hours before dawn, as Mars lay cloaked in darkness save for its bioluminescent flora casting gentle glows across alien fields, Alara dreamed. In her dreamscape, woven from memory and myth alike, a figure appeared bathed in light so radiant it seemed woven from celestial threads itself, a figure bearing resemblance not only to herself but also echoing fragments remembered from stories told long ago by fireside warmth, the father whose absence left echoes lingering still within heartbeat's cadence across time's expanse even now. He reached out towards her through veils separating reality from reverie, and though she could not touch nor hold nor speak, the message conveyed transcended language itself. Awaken, to find meaning amidst stars' embrace. And so when morning arrived anew upon Martian horizons, Alara awoke with renewed purpose etched into soul's fabric, ready once more embark upon journey unfolding before them all. Chaptery. Setup. The spacecraft's engines hummed with a steady, comforting rhythm as Dr. Alara Voss gazed out the viewport, her eyes tracing the endless expanse of stars. Each celestial body seemed to pulse with a life of its own, whispering secrets that only she could hear. The journey to Mars had been long, yet the anticipation of what awaited them on the transformed planet made every moment worthwhile. Dr. Kalen Thorne, seated beside her, broke the silence. "You seem lost in thought, Alara." Alara turned, offering a small smile. "Just contemplating what we'll find on Mars. The comet's impact has changed everything." Kalen leaned back, arms crossed. "Changed, yes, but how much of it is real change and how much is just our perception skewed by excitement and, well, superstition?" Alara chuckled softly. "Skeptical as always, Kalen, but isn't that why you're here? To keep me grounded." "Someone has to," Kalen replied with a wry grin. "But you know I'm just as curious as you are. I want to see these so-called ghosts for myself." Alara nodded, her expression growing serious. "I feel like we're on the brink of something monumental. This mission isn't just about scientific discovery, it's personal for me." Kalen softened, recognizing the weight of Alara's words. "Your father?" "Yes," she replied quietly, her gaze returning to the stars. "I hope to find some answers, or at least peace." The intercom crackled to life, interrupting their conversation. "Approaching Mars orbit," announced the pilot. "Prepare for descent." The two scientists exchanged a glance filled with both trepidation and excitement. The time had come to confront the mysteries awaiting them on Mars. Scene 2. Confrontation. As they descended onto the Martian surface, the landscape unfurled before them, a breathtaking panorama of azure lakes and bioluminescent flora under a sky painted with vibrant auroras. Once on solid ground, Alara and Kalen stepped out of the craft, their boots sinking slightly into the alien soil. This is extraordinary, Kalen breathed, his skepticism momentarily eclipsed by wonder. Alara nodded, eyes wide with awe. It's like stepping into a dream. They moved cautiously through the transformed terrain, guided by faint whispers that seemed to emanate from the very air around them. The ghostly figures appeared intermittently, ethereal shapes flickering at the edge of their vision. "Do you see that?" Alara whispered, pointing towards a faint silhouette drifting among the trees. Kalen squinted, his rational mind struggling against what he saw. "I see something? But how is it possible?" Alara shook her head, her voice filled with reverence and mystery. "Perhaps there are forces at play we can't yet comprehend." Their exploration led them to an ancient structure rising from the ground, its surface etched with glowing symbols that pulsed softly in the twilight. Kalen ran his fingers over the markings, trying to decipher their meaning. "These symbols, they remind me of quantum patterns, but they're unlike anything I've studied." Alara watched him closely, sensing his internal conflict. "Maybe they're a bridge between science and something greater." Kalen hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Perhaps." Scene 3. Resolution or twist. As they stood before the ancient structure, a sudden gust of wind swept through the clearing, carrying with it a chorus of ethereal voices, a haunting melody that resonated deep within their souls. The ghostly figures materialized more clearly now, their forms shimmering like mirages in the desert heat. One figure stepped forward, its features indistinct but somehow familiar. Alara felt a shiver run down her spine as the apparition spoke, not in words, but in emotions and images that flooded her mind with a profound sense of connection and understanding. "Do you feel it too?" Kalen asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Yes," Alara replied, tears glistening in her eyes. "It's like they're trying to tell us something about life, about existence." In that moment, Alara realized that these entities were not mere figments of imagination or echoes of ancient myths. They were part of a cosmic tapestry woven by forces beyond human comprehension. Kalen reached out to touch Alara's shoulder, grounding them both in this surreal experience. "Whatever this is, we're meant to be here, to uncover its secrets together." Alara smiled through her tears, feeling a newfound sense of purpose and unity with her friend and colleague. Optional Scene 4, Aftermath Foreshadow. As they prepared to return to their base camp for further analysis and reflection, Alara couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning, a prelude to revelations that would redefine everything they knew. The whispers of the cosmic seed lingered in her mind, urging her forward into uncharted territory where science and spirit intertwined in an intricate dance. "Tomorrow," she said softly to Kalen as they boarded their craft once more, "we'll continue exploring together." Kalen nodded in agreement, his skepticism tempered by curiosity and wonder. As the spacecraft lifted off into the Martian sky, Alara felt an unspoken promise between them, a commitment to uncovering truths hidden among the stars and within themselves. And somewhere beyond the horizon lay answers waiting patiently to be discovered, echoes of a cosmic design whispering through time and space until they were ready to be heard. Chapter 4, Ghosts of the Past, Scene 1, Setup. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a Martian cliff, her eyes tracing the contours of the landscape below. The newly formed azure lake shimmered in the twilight, its surface reflecting the heaven's vibrant auroras. She felt a profound sense of connection to this alien world, an inexplicable bond that whispered promises of discovery and healing. Her goal was clear: to unravel the secrets hidden within Mars's transformation and perhaps find answers about her father's mysterious disappearance. The mission had brought her team to a region on Mars where the comet's impact had revealed structures of unknown origin, ruins that seemed to pulse with life under the starlit sky. Yet, there was tension in the air, a lingering unease among her team members as they grappled with the enigmatic presence that seemed to watch over them. Dr. Kalen Thorne, her colleague and steadfast skeptic, joined her at the precipice. His gaze was analytical, scanning the horizon with a mix of curiosity and doubt. "Alara," he began, his voice carrying an undertone of challenge, "do you really think these ghostly figures are anything more than projections of our own minds?" Psychological echoes triggered by the stress of this mission. Alara turned to face him, her expression thoughtful. "Kalen, I can't deny the possibility. But what if there's something more? What if these whispers hold truths we've yet to comprehend? Kalen crossed his arms, his skepticism palpable. I respect your intuition, but we must approach this scientifically. We need evidence, not just feelings. Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden gust of wind that swept across the cliff, carrying with it an ethereal melody, a haunting tune that seemed to rise from the depths of Mars itself. Alara felt a chill run down her spine as she listened, captivated by the music that defied explanation. This place is full of mysteries, Alara said softly, more to herself than to Kalen. And perhaps it's time we let go of our preconceptions. Kalen remained silent, his expression unreadable as he contemplated her words. The seeds of conflict were sown between them, a clash of ideologies that would shape their journey. Scene 2. Confrontation. Back at their base camp, nestled amidst the Martian ruins, Alara gathered her team for an evening briefing. The holographic display flickered to life, casting a soft glow over the room as it projected images of the structures they had discovered. We need to understand these symbols, Alara stated, pointing to the intricate patterns etched into the stone surfaces. They might hold clues to the origins of this phenomenon. Kalen leaned forward, studying the images intently. These could be remnants of a lost civilization or natural geological formations, he suggested. Either way, they require rigorous analysis. Alara nodded, acknowledging his point. Agreed. But we should also consider the possibility that these symbols are a form of communication, perhaps even messages left by an ancient intelligence. A murmur ran through the team, a mix of excitement and skepticism at the implications of her words. Kalen met her gaze, his expression firm yet respectful. Let's not jump to conclusions without concrete evidence. Their dialogue was charged with subtext, a dance between belief and reason that underscored their mutual respect despite differing views. Alara admired Kalen's dedication to empirical science but felt compelled to explore beyond its boundaries. As they delved deeper into their discussion, a sudden flicker of light caught Alara's attention. She turned to see one of the ghostly figures materialize near the entrance, a translucent silhouette shimmering in the dim light. The room fell silent as everyone stared in awe and disbelief at the apparition. Alara's heart raced with a mixture of fear and fascination. She approached slowly, sensing an opportunity to bridge the gap between myth and reality. "Do you see it too?" she asked Kalen quietly, her voice barely above a whisper. He nodded, his skepticism momentarily suspended by the undeniable presence before them. "I see it," he admitted, his tone tinged with wonder. The figure lingered for a moment longer before dissolving into the air, leaving behind an aura of mystery that hung heavily in the room. Scene 3. Resolution or twist. In the aftermath of the encounter, Alara and Kalen found themselves alone in the ruins, their earlier tensions giving way to a shared sense of purpose. The ghostly visitation had shifted something fundamental in their relationship, an unspoken acknowledgement that they were both explorers on a journey into the unknown. "Maybe we're looking at this all wrong," Kalen said quietly, breaking the silence. "What if these entities are part of something larger, something beyond our current understanding?" Alara smiled softly, grateful for his openness. "That's what I've been trying to say. Sometimes science and wonder must walk hand in hand." Their conversation marked a turning point, a newfound willingness to embrace uncertainty and consider possibilities beyond their initial assumptions. Together, they resolved to investigate further, drawing on both scientific rigor and open-minded curiosity. As they prepared to return to camp, Alara felt a renewed sense of hope, a belief that answers lay within reach if only they dared to listen to the whispers of Mars. Optionals for Aftermath, Foreshadow. Later that night, as Alara lay beneath the Martian sky, she pondered the day's revelations. The stars above twinkled like ancient sentinels guarding secrets untold. She closed her eyes and listened to the soft rustle of alien leaves, a lullaby from a world reborn. In that moment, she realized that her quest was not just about uncovering cosmic truths, but also about finding peace within herself. The ghosts of her past lingered still, but now they seemed less daunting, more like guides leading her toward understanding. With Kalen by her side and a universe of mysteries awaiting exploration, Alara felt ready for whatever lay ahead. For in this vast cosmos, she had found not only questions but also companionship, a reminder that even amidst uncertainty, there is always light guiding the way forward. As sleep claimed her, Alara dreamed of stars and whispers, a promise that tomorrow would bring new discoveries and deeper connections in this ever-unfolding tapestry of life. Chapter 5, Scene 1, Setup. The Martian dawn cast its ethereal glow over the makeshift encampment where Dr. Alara Voss and her team prepared for their next journey into the unknown. The newly formed atmosphere of Mars, a gift from the comet's collision, hung thick with potential, a reminder of both the planet's transformation and the mysteries it held. Alara stood at the edge of a newly formed azure lake, its surface rippling gently in the morning breeze. Her mind was a tumult of anticipation and uncertainty. Today marked the beginning of their expedition deeper into the Martian landscape, to explore the enigmatic structures that whispered of civilizations long past. "Alara," came a voice from behind her, breaking the silence. It was Dr. Kalen Thorne, his voice carrying a mix of skepticism and curiosity that had become all too familiar. "Are we really ready for this? We've barely scratched the surface of what these phenomena could mean." Alara turned to face him, her eyes reflecting both the dawn's light and an inner resolve. "Kalen, every moment we hesitate is a moment lost in understanding what lies out there," she replied, gesturing towards the horizon where crimson cliffs loomed like ancient sentinels. Kalen crossed his arms, a gesture of both defensiveness and contemplation. "I just wonder if we're chasing shadows, Alara. Ghosts of our own making. These entities you speak of, what if they're simply projections of our subconscious?" Alara smiled gently, acknowledging his concerns while holding firm to her own beliefs. "Perhaps they are, or perhaps there's something more. But isn't that why we're here? To question, to explore both the tangible and the intangible?" Their conversation was interrupted by the hum of machinery as their transport vehicles powered up, ready for departure. The team gathered around, their faces a blend of excitement and apprehension. Alara addressed them with a confidence that belied her own doubts. "Today we venture further than we've ever gone," she declared, her voice carrying over the Martian plain. "We seek answers not just for science, but for ourselves, for the possibilities that lie beyond our understanding." As they boarded their vehicles, Alara felt a surge of determination. This was more than a scientific mission. It was a journey into the very heart of mystery itself. Confrontation. The convoy moved steadily across the Martian landscape, leaving trails of dust in its wake. Inside one of the rovers, Alara and Kalen sat side by side, their conversation continuing amidst the rhythmic hum of engines. "Do you ever wonder," Kalen began, his tone softer now, "if these myths and legends you hold dear might be leading us astray? That by seeking meaning in them, we risk losing sight of empirical truth?" Alara pondered his words, her gaze fixed on the horizon where the towering structures awaited. "I believe there's room for both," she replied thoughtfully. "Myths are stories, echoes from our past that might hold fragments of truth woven through time." Kalen sighed, leaning back in his seat. "It's just this place. It feels different, as if it's alive in ways we can't comprehend." Alara nodded, sensing his internal struggle, a mirror to her own journey between skepticism and belief. "That's precisely why we must keep our minds open," she said softly, "to embrace what we cannot yet explain." Their dialogue was interrupted by a sudden jolt as the rover came to an abrupt halt. Outside, the terrain had shifted unexpectedly, a chasm yawning before them, its depths shrouded in shadow. "Looks like we'll have to proceed on foot," Alara announced to the team, masking her unease with practicality. As they disembarked, Kalen lingered beside her. "You know, Alara," he said quietly, "perhaps you're right about one thing. There's more here than meets the eye." His admission was a tentative bridge between their divergent views, a step towards understanding that resonated with unspoken possibilities. Scene 3. Resolution or twist? The team navigated cautiously around the chasm's edge, their footsteps echoing in the stillness. Ahead loomed one of the mysterious structures, a monolith etched with symbols that glowed faintly in response to their presence. Alara approached it with reverence, tracing her fingers along its surface as if seeking answers within its cryptic patterns. The air seemed to hum with energy, a resonance felt rather than heard. "Do you feel it?" Kalen asked, standing close beside her now. She nodded, words unnecessary in this shared moment of discovery. Together they examined the symbols, each line and curve hinting at a language lost to time. As they studied the monolith, an unexpected sensation washed over Alara, a whisper at the edge of consciousness that spoke not in words but in feelings and images. A vision of interconnectedness, a tapestry woven across stars and epochs. Startled yet intrigued, she turned to Kalen. "Do you see it?" she asked breathlessly. He hesitated before replying, his expression one of awe mingled with confusion. "I don't know what I'm seeing, but it's something." Their exchange marked a subtle shift, a melding of perspectives that transcended mere logic or faith. In this moment beneath alien skies, they glimpsed a truth that lay beyond comprehension, a truth that beckoned them forward into realms unknown. Scene 4. Aftermath. Foreshadow. As night descended upon Mars, painting the sky with celestial hues, Alara and Kalen stood together atop a ridge overlooking their camp. The auroras danced above them, a cosmic ballet set against infinity's backdrop. "There's so much we don't understand," Alara mused aloud, her voice carrying an edge of wonder tinged with humility. Kalen nodded beside her, their differences now less pronounced under starlit skies. "And perhaps that's where true discovery lies," he suggested quietly. Together they watched as spectral figures flickered at the periphery, ghostly echoes entwined with myth and reality alike, whispers carried on solar winds that promised revelations yet to come. In silence they stood, companions bound by shared purpose, as Mars whispered its secrets across time's vast expanse. The journey continued. Mysteries awaited unraveling, destinies unfolded beneath cosmic gaze. With hearts open wide to possibility's call, guided by whispers both ancient and new, they embraced tomorrow's dawn with courage undimmed by nightfall's shadowed veil. Chapter 6. Arrival. The hum of the spacecraft's engines was a gentle lullaby, a constant reminder of the technological marvel that carried Dr. Alara Voss and her team through the vastness of space. As they approached Mars, Alara stood by the observation deck, her gaze transfixed on the planet below. A shimmering orb of emerald and crimson, a world reborn from the ashes of its former self. Her heart swelled with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. This was more than a scientific mission. It was a pilgrimage to a place where personal and cosmic mysteries intertwined. The comet 3I Atlas had transformed Mars, and now it was time to uncover the secrets it held. "Alara," came the voice of Dr. Kalen Thorne, breaking the contemplative silence. "We're about to enter orbit. Are you ready?" Alara turned to face her colleague, his expression one of curiosity tinged with skepticism. "As ready as I'll ever be," she replied, her voice steady yet laced with an undercurrent of excitement. "This is what we've been waiting for." Kalen joined her at the observation deck, his eyes scanning the Martian landscape below. It's hard to believe, isn't it? A barren planet now teeming with life. It challenges everything we thought we knew. Or perhaps it confirms what some have always believed, Alara mused, her thoughts drifting to ancient myths and whispers of otherworldly architects. That there are forces in this universe beyond our understanding. Kalen chuckled softly, a sound both amused and incredulous. "You and your myths, Alara, always looking for the supernatural in the scientific. And you, always grounded in logic," Alara countered with a smile. "But that's why we make such a good team, isn't it? We balance each other out." Their banter was familiar, a dance of contrasting beliefs that fueled their partnership. Yet beneath the surface, Alara sensed a tension, a seed of conflict that would soon grow as they delved deeper into Mars's lab mysteries. As the spacecraft descended towards the Martian surface, Alara felt a shiver run through her. Whether it was from the chill of anticipation or something more ethereal, she couldn't tell. But she knew one thing. This arrival marked the beginning of a journey that would test not only their scientific acumen, but also their very perceptions of reality. Scene 2. Confrontation. The Martian air was crisp and thin, carrying with it an eerie silence that enveloped Alara and her team as they disembarked from their spacecraft. The landscape stretched before them, a mesmerizing tapestry of alien beauty, where bioluminescent flora danced in the gentle breeze and azure lakes mirrored the sky above. Dr. Kalen Thorne adjusted his visor, his expression a mixture of awe and analytical curiosity. "Incredible," he murmured, eyes wide as he surveyed the transformed terrain. "Yet still unsettling." Alara nodded, feeling the weight of his words resonate within her. "It's like stepping into another world, a world that's both ours and not ours." As they ventured further into this new realm, their path led them to the ruins, structures of mysterious origin rising from the Martian soil, etched with symbols that glowed faintly under the starlight. The air seemed charged with an unseen energy, an almost tangible presence that made Alara's skin prickle. "These symbols," Kaelin remarked, crouching down to examine one closely. "They defy any known language or code, yet there's an order to them, a pattern." Alara joined him, tracing her fingers over the ancient etchings. A message, perhaps? Or a guide? Or simply random markings left by geological processes we don't yet understand, Kaelin countered, though his voice lacked conviction. Their debate was interrupted by a sudden shift in the atmosphere, a whispering sound that seemed to emanate from the very stones themselves. It was as if the ruins were speaking, their voices a chorus of echoes from another time. "Did you hear that?" Alara asked, her heart pounding. Kaelin hesitated, his skepticism wavering. I did. For a moment they stood in silence, enveloped by an unspoken understanding that transcended their differences. In that instant, the line between myth and reality blurred, leaving them both questioning everything they thought they knew. But as quickly as it came, the whispering ceased, leaving only the rustle of alien leaves in its wake. "We need to document this," Kaelin said finally, regaining his composure. "Every detail could be crucial." Alara agreed, though her mind lingered on the whispers, a tantalizing hint of something greater than themselves. Scene 3. Resolution or twist? As night fell over Mars, Alara found herself drawn back to the ruins, unable to shake the feeling that they held answers she desperately sought. The stars above twinkled like cosmic beacons, guiding her steps as she navigated the labyrinthine structures. She wasn't alone for long. Kaelin soon joined her, his presence both comforting and challenging. "You couldn't stay away either," he noted wryly. Alara smiled ruefully. "There's something here, Kaelin. Something we can't ignore." He nodded slowly, his skepticism tempered by their shared experiences. "Perhaps you're right. Perhaps there's more to this than science can explain." Their conversation drifted into silence as they stood side by side, gazing at the enigmatic symbols before them. In that quiet moment, Alara felt a shift, a subtle realignment in their relationship that brought them closer together. "Whatever we discover here," Kaelin said softly, "we'll face it together." Alara met his gaze, gratitude and determination shining in her eyes. "Together," she echoed, and with that simple word, an unspoken bond formed, a promise to explore not just the mysteries of Mars, but also the depths of their own understanding. Scene 4. Aftermath Foreshadow. As dawn broke over Mars's horizon, painting the landscape in hues of gold and crimson, Alara felt a renewed sense of purpose. The whispers had awakened something within her, a call to uncover truths long buried beneath layers of myth and mystery. Yet even as she prepared for the day's explorations, a lingering question remained. What if these whispers were not just echoes from the past, but harbingers of what was yet to come? With this thought echoing in her mind, Alara set out once more into the Martian wilderness, her heart open to whatever revelations awaited in this land of cosmic wonder and untold secrets. Chapter 7, Whispers in the Wind, Setup. The Martian dawn crept over the horizon, painting the landscape in hues of amber and gold. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a newly formed lake, its surface mirroring the sky's delicate palette. Her breath misted in the crisp air, mingling with the faint whispers that seemed to emanate from the shimmering waters. Today was pivotal. She felt it in her bones, a day to unravel the mysteries that had eluded her thus far. "Alara," a voice called from behind, breaking her reverie. It was Dr. Kaelin Thorne, his silhouette framed by the rising sun. He approached with his usual air of skepticism, though beneath it, Alara sensed a flicker of intrigue. "Kaelin?" she acknowledged, her eyes still fixed on the lake as if it might divulge its secrets at any moment. "I feel there's something here, something we're meant to find." Kaelin adjusted his visor, casting a sidelong glance at Alara. "And what do you propose we find today? More ghostly figures whispering sweet nothings?" She chuckled softly, appreciating his dry humor even in the face of the unknown. "Perhaps. Or perhaps they'll lead us to something tangible this time." He crossed his arms, the skepticism in his posture softened by curiosity. "What's your plan?" Alara turned to him fully, determination etched across her features. I want to explore the ruins we discovered yesterday, the ones with those strange symbols. I have a hunch they might be more than mere decoration. Kaelin raised an eyebrow. You think they hold answers? I believe they might, she replied earnestly, but we'll need to decipher them first. A gust of wind swept across the lake, sending ripples across its surface and carrying with it a hint of something unnameable, an ethereal presence that tugged at Alara's senses. Kaelin sighed, nodding reluctantly. All right then, let's see what these ancient etchings have to say. As they set off towards the ruins, Alara couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the cusp of a revelation, one that could alter their understanding of Mars and perhaps even their own place in the universe. Scene 2. Confrontation. The ruins loomed ahead, their stone facades carved with intricate patterns that glowed faintly under the Martian sun. Alara and Kaelin approached cautiously, their footsteps echoing in the stillness. There's definitely a pattern here, Alara murmured, tracing her fingers over the symbols. They pulsed gently beneath her touch, as if alive with latent energy. Kaelin leaned in closer, squinting at the carvings. These markings, they're unlike anything I've seen before, almost like a language. Alara nodded, excitement threading through her voice. Exactly. If we can decipher them, we might learn something crucial about the entities or forces at play here. Kaelin hesitated, his scientific instincts warring with his growing sense of wonder. But how do we even begin to translate something so alien? Before Alara could respond, a soft whispering filled the air, a chorus of voices intertwining like strands of a cosmic tapestry. The sound was both haunting and beautiful, resonating deep within their minds. Do you hear that? Kaelin asked, his skepticism momentarily forgotten. Alara closed her eyes, allowing the whispers to envelop her. Yes, she breathed. It's as if they're trying to communicate. The tension between them shifted subtly, an unspoken understanding forming as they listened together. Two minds united in their quest for truth amidst the supernatural. Maybe we need to approach this differently, Kaelin suggested after a moment, his tone thoughtful. What if these symbols aren't just language, but also music? A kind of harmonic code? Alara's eyes widened in realization. A melody encoded in stone. That would explain why they resonate like this. They exchanged a look of shared discovery, their previous ideological barriers momentarily dissolving in the face of this new possibility. Let's record these patterns and analyze their frequencies, Kaelin proposed, his earlier skepticism now tempered by genuine curiosity. Alara nodded eagerly, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. Together, they began documenting the symbols with meticulous care, each stroke of their styluses capturing not just data, but hope. The hope that these whispers held answers waiting to be uncovered. Scene 3, Resolution or Twist. Hours passed as Alara and Kaelin worked side by side, their focus unwavering despite the growing shadows that stretched across the Martian landscape. The whispers persisted, guiding them like an unseen hand steering them towards enlightenment. Finally, as dusk descended and bathed the ruins in twilight's embrace, they made a breakthrough. A sequence of notes that seemed to unlock part of the mystery encoded within the stones. It's a message, Alara whispered in awe as she pieced together the harmonic code. A message left by whoever or whatever was here before. Kaelin's eyes shone with newfound respect for the unknown forces they were dealing with. And what does it say? Alara hesitated, feeling the weight of centuries-old secrets pressing against her consciousness. It speaks of creation, of life seeded across worlds by a cosmic architect. Kaelin absorbed this revelation in silence, his mind racing with implications both scientific and philosophical. This changes everything, he finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. Alara nodded slowly, understanding all too well what this meant for their mission and for humanity's understanding of its own origins. Yet even as they stood on the brink of discovery, another layer of mystery beckoned them forward, a tantalizing hint that there was more yet to uncover beneath Mars's enigmatic surface. Optional Scene 4. Aftermath Foreshadow. As night fell over Mars and stars danced across its sky like celestial storytellers weaving tales of old, Alara gazed up at them with renewed wonder. Beside her, Kaelin remained lost in thought, a man transformed by what they had uncovered together. We've only just begun, he mused aloud after a long silence. Alara smiled softly at his words, their resonance echoing her own thoughts perfectly as she felt an inexplicable connection binding them to something greater than themselves. In that moment, under starlit skies filled with whispers yet to be understood fully or explained rationally but felt deeply nonetheless, they knew without doubt that their journey had only just begun. Chapter Ancient Echoes. Scene 1. Setup. The Martian dawn cast a serene glow over the nascent landscape, where the air held an ethereal stillness as if awaiting revelation. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the precipice of a crimson cliff, her gaze tracing the horizon where azure lakes shimmered beneath the rising sun. The bioluminescent flora that had taken root in the wake of the comet's impact pulsed gently, casting an otherworldly luminescence that danced across her features. Beside her, Dr. Wow, Kalen Thorne adjusted his visor, squinting against the morning light. "Every time I look at this place, it feels like stepping into a dream," he remarked, his voice tinged with both awe and skepticism. Alara nodded, her mind a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions. She had come to Mars seeking answers, scientific, personal, and perhaps something more profound. Yet the mysteries seemed to deepen with each passing day. "It's as if Mars itself is whispering secrets," she mused aloud, her words carrying a weight she couldn't quite define. Kalen's eyes narrowed thoughtfully. "Secrets or illusions? That's the question we need to answer." Their mission today was clear. Explore the newly discovered ruins that dotted the landscape, a task fraught with both promise and peril. The structures, with their cryptic symbols and enigmatic design, beckoned them with a silent allure. But Alara knew that within these ruins lay not just the key to understanding Mars' transformation, but also echoes of legends that might illuminate her father's fate. As they prepared to descend into the valley below, Alara felt a familiar tug at her heart, a blend of hope and trepidation. She paused, taking a deep breath to steady herself. "Let's see what Mars has to say," she said, determination lacing her voice. Kalen smirked, his skepticism softened by camaraderie. "Lead the way, Alara. I'm right behind you." Scene 2. The ruins loomed before them, ancient and majestic, their surfaces etched with symbols that seemed to shift and shimmer under the Martian sun. As they approached, Alara and Kalen engaged in a spirited discussion about the nature of these markings. "These patterns resemble nothing I've seen in any known language or script," Alara pointed out, her fingers tracing the grooves with reverence. Kalen crouched beside her, examining the symbols with a critical eye. "It could be an advanced form of mathematics or a visual representation of quantum phenomena," he suggested, his tone measured and analytical. Their debate was interrupted by a sudden chill that swept through the air, a presence both palpable and elusive. Alara shivered involuntarily, her senses heightened by an unspoken awareness that they were not alone. "Do you feel that?" she whispered, her voice barely audible above the gentle rustle of alien leaves. Kalen hesitated before nodding slowly. "It's as if we're being watched," he admitted, his skepticism momentarily faltering. The tension between them was electric, charged with possibilities both wondrous and unsettling. Alara glanced at Kalen, searching his eyes for answers he couldn't provide. In that moment, they shared an unspoken understanding, a bridge between their differing perspectives forged by mutual respect and curiosity. Before either could speak further, a soft voice echoed through the ruins, a haunting melody that resonated with an ancient familiarity. It was neither language nor song, but something in between, a whisper from beyond time and space. Alara's heart raced as she listened intently, trying to discern its meaning. Could it be them? She wondered aloud, referencing the ghostly entities that had haunted their journey. Kalen's expression shifted from skepticism to intrigue. "If it is," he replied cautiously, "then perhaps they're trying to communicate." Their conversation hung in the air like a suspended breath, a moment poised on the edge of revelation or madness. Scene 3, resolution or twist. Their conversation drifted into comfortable silence, punctuated only by the distant rustle of Martian flora swaying in an unseen breeze. Yet beneath this calm lay an undercurrent of excitement, a shared understanding that their journey had only just begun. Kalen glanced at Alara, his expression one of newfound respect and camaraderie. "Whatever this is leading us to," he said, "I'm glad we're doing it together." Alara nodded, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. A connection not just with Kalen, but with something greater than herself. As she gazed up at the stars that whispered secrets only she could hear, she knew that this was only the beginning. Optional Scene 4. Aftermath Foreshadow. Later that night, as Alara lay beneath the Martian sky, she closed her eyes and listened to the cosmic symphony surrounding her. In that moment, she felt an echo from her past, a memory of her father sharing tales of ancient gods and celestial wonders. A single tear escaped her eye, not from sadness but from a profound sense of hope. She understood now that this journey was about more than uncovering scientific truths. It was about healing old wounds and forging new connections. As sleep claimed her, Alara dreamed of a world reborn, of life emerging from barren soil and mysteries unfolding like petals beneath the sun. And in those dreams were whispers, gentle reminders that she was part of something far greater than herself. The whispers promised revelations yet to come and hinted at answers waiting just beyond the horizon. With each breath, Alara embraced them all, the echoes of ancient myths and modern marvels intertwining in perfect harmony. And so began another chapter in her quest for understanding, a journey that would lead her deeper into the heart of Mars's mysteries and closer to discovering her own place among the stars. Chapter 9. The Kaleidoscope Element. Scene 1. Setup. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a shimmering azure lake on Mars, the crisp air filling her lungs with every breath. The landscape around her was a living tapestry of colors, each hue more vivid than the last. The comet's impact had transformed Mars into an alien Eden, and as she gazed at the bioluminescent flora that danced gently in the breeze, Alara felt the weight of her mission settle on her shoulders. The goal was clear: to understand the kaleidoscope of elements found within the Comet 3I Atlas and their implications for life across the universe. Yet, the immediate conflict lay in deciphering the cryptic symbols etched into the ancient Martian structures that loomed nearby, symbols that seemed to whisper secrets only she could hear. "Alara," Dr. Kalen Thorne's voice interrupted her thoughts. He approached, his expression a mix of skepticism and curiosity. "These readings are off the charts. The elements here don't conform to any known periodic table. It's as if we're dealing with something otherworldly." Alara nodded, her eyes fixed on the ruins. "And the symbols, they resonate with ancient myths from Earth. It's like they're calling out to us, urging us to understand." Kalen chuckled, though his eyes betrayed a hint of unease. "Or perhaps they're just remnants of a civilization with advanced knowledge of quantum physics. We should approach this scientifically, Alara." Her gaze softened as she turned to him. "Of course, but sometimes science and myth are two sides of the same coin. Maybe these symbols hold the key to understanding both." The tension between their perspectives hung in the air, a seed of conflict that would soon grow. Scene 2. Confrontation. Later, inside the makeshift laboratory they had set up within one of the Martian structures, Alara and Kalen pored over holographic displays filled with data streams and rotating models of molecular structures. "You can't just ignore the possibility of psychological phenomena," Kalen argued, his voice calm yet firm. "These ghostly entities you keep mentioning, there's no empirical evidence for them." Alara sighed, frustration creeping into her tone. "I know what I saw, Kalen. They aren't just figments of my imagination. There's something here, something alive in a way we can't yet comprehend." Kalen leaned back, crossing his arms. "Even if that's true, we need to approach it logically. What if these encounters are projections from our minds, triggered by the unique environment?" Alara shook her head, her intuition rebelling against his skepticism. "I can't dismiss what I feel, what I sense. These entities seem to be guiding us, showing us pieces of a puzzle we didn't even know existed." Their eyes locked, a silent battle of wills between open-mindedness and scientific rigor, yet beneath the surface lay mutual respect, a recognition that their differing views were essential to uncovering the truth. "Let's keep exploring," Kalen finally conceded, his voice softening. "But let's also ensure we have evidence to support whatever conclusions we draw." Alara smiled faintly, grateful for his willingness to meet her halfway. "Agreed. Together we'll find the answers." Scene 3. Resolution or Twist. As night fell on Mars, Alara wandered alone through the ruins, drawn by an inexplicable force toward a particular structure whose symbols glowed faintly under the starlight. The air was charged with an unseen energy that made her skin tingle. In the silence, a presence emerged, a ghostly figure that shimmered with ethereal light. It hovered before her, its form indistinct yet undeniably real. Alara's heart raced, a mix of fear and wonder coursing through her veins. "Who are you?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. The entity seemed to ripple with understanding, its form shifting like a kaleidoscope of colors. Though it spoke no words, Alara felt its message, a profound sense of connection and purpose that resonated deep within her soul. Suddenly she understood. These beings were not mere figments, but echoes of an ancient intelligence, a cosmic seed sown across worlds, nurturing life in countless forms. As the apparition faded into the night, Alara's resolve solidified. She would unravel this mystery, not just for herself, but for all of humanity. Returning to the lab, she found Kalen waiting, his eyes questioning yet hopeful. "Did you find what you were looking for?" he asked gently. Alara nodded, her voice steady with newfound determination. "I did, and it's just the beginning." Scene 4. Aftermath Foreshadow. In the days that followed, Alara and Kalen worked tirelessly, their collaboration now infused with a deeper understanding and mutual respect. Each discovery brought them closer to unraveling the mysteries of Mars and its cosmic secrets. Yet as they delved deeper into their research, whispers of political intrigue reached their ears, rumors of Earth's nations vying for control over this new knowledge. Alara knew their journey was far from over. As she gazed out at the Martian landscape bathed in twilight hues, she felt both anticipation and trepidation for what lay ahead. The universe beckoned with promises of discovery and challenges yet unseen, a cosmic dance that would test their courage and illuminate their hearts. With Kalen by her side and the whispers of ghostly entities guiding them forward, Alara was ready to face whatever came next, an explorer on the brink of revelation and destiny intertwined. The path was uncertain, but hope burned brightly within her, a beacon lighting the way through the kaleidoscope elements of existence itself. And so their journey continued, driven by curiosity and connection, a testament to humanity's enduring spirit in the vastness of the cosmos. Chapter 10, The Voice of Doubt. Scene 1. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a newly formed Martian lake, its surface a mirror reflecting the alien sky. The azure water shimmered under the ethereal glow of bioluminescent flora, casting an otherworldly light on her contemplative face. The air was thin, charged with the hum of untapped potential. Mars was alive in ways that defied human comprehension, and Alara felt the weight of its mysteries pressing against her mind. Her goal was clear: to decipher the cryptic symbols etched into the ancient structures that dotted the landscape. They might hold the key to understanding the comet's true purpose and perhaps the fate of her father. Yet, as she prepared for another day of exploration, doubt whispered insidiously at the edges of her consciousness. Dr. Kalen Thorne approached, his silhouette sharp against the Martian dawn. "Alara," he called, his voice carrying a note of urgency that cut through the silence. "We need to talk." Alara turned to face him, steeling herself for the conversation she knew was coming. Kalen's skepticism had been a constant companion on their journey, a counterbalance to her own willingness to embrace the unknown. But today his expression held something different, a gravity that mirrored her own inner turmoil. "What's on your mind?" Alara asked, her voice steady despite the tumult within. Kalen hesitated, glancing towards the distant horizon where ghostly figures sometimes danced in the twilight. "I've been running simulations," he began, trying to find a rational explanation for what we've seen. "But nothing adds up. These entities, they defy everything we know." Alara nodded slowly, acknowledging the conflict between their scientific training and the surreal experiences they were living. "And what do you think it means?" Kalen sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I don't know, Alara. Part of me wants to dismiss it as psychological phenomena, hallucinations triggered by stress or this alien environment, but another part wonders if we're glimpsing something truly beyond our understanding." The seed of doubt had been planted, not just within Kalen, but within their entire expedition. And as they stood together under the vast Martian sky, Alara felt the weight of their shared uncertainty, a burden that could either bind them closer or drive them apart. Confrontation. Back at their base camp, the tension was palpable. Holographic displays flickered with data that defied easy interpretation, casting an eerie glow over the assembled team. Alara and Kaelin sat across from one another, their conversation drawing the attention of their colleagues. "I understand your skepticism, Kaelin," Alara said, choosing her words carefully. "But dismissing these encounters as mere hallucinations doesn't do justice to what we've experienced." Kaelin leaned forward, his eyes searching hers for answers she wasn't sure she possessed. "Then what? Are you suggesting we're dealing with spirits? Ancient cosmic architects? You know how that sounds." "It sounds like myth," Alara admitted, "but myths often contain kernels of truth. What if these entities are manifestations of a higher intelligence? Something that seeded life across the cosmos?" The room was silent save for the soft hum of their equipment. Kaelin's gaze remained steady, yet beneath it lay a flicker of something new, an openness to possibilities he had once dismissed. "Let's say you're right," Kaelin replied, his tone softening. "How do we prove it? How do we turn belief into knowledge?" Alara considered this, her mind racing through possibilities and impossibilities alike. "We start by listening," she said finally, "to each other, to these whispers of the cosmic seed. We must be willing to accept that not everything can be explained by current science." Their dialogue resonated with the rest of the team, sparking debates and discussions that carried on late into the night. In those exchanges lay the heart of their mission, not just uncovering truths about Mars, but challenging their own perceptions of reality. Scene 3, Resolution or Twist. As night descended over Mars, Alara found herself alone once more by the lake's edge. The ghostly figures appeared again, their forms wavering like mist in a breeze. She watched them dance across the water's surface, feeling an inexplicable connection to these ethereal beings. Then, as if in response to her unspoken question, one figure broke away from the rest and approached her, a luminous presence that seemed both familiar and foreign. "Who are you?" Alara whispered, her voice barely audible over the gentle lapping of water. The entity paused before her, its form shifting subtly in the starlight, and then it spoke. Not in words, but in a cascade of images and emotions that flooded Alara's mind. Visions of ancient worlds and celestial journeys filled her senses, accompanied by a profound sense of longing and purpose. In that moment, Alara understood that these beings were neither ghosts nor gods, but echoes, remnants of a civilization that had once walked among the stars, a civilization that had left behind whispers for those willing to listen. As the vision faded, Alara felt a newfound resolve take root within her heart. The path ahead was fraught with uncertainty, but she knew now that doubt was not her enemy. It was a guide, a reminder to question and explore without fear. Scene 4, Aftermath Foreshadow. The following morning brought with it a sense of renewal. Alara gathered her team, sharing with them what she had experienced by the lake. Her words were met with a mix of skepticism and intrigue, but beneath it all lay a shared determination to continue their quest. As they prepared to delve deeper into Mars' mysteries, Alara and Kaelin exchanged a look, one of mutual respect and understanding that transcended their previous disagreements. "We're on this journey together," Kaelin said quietly, offering a rare smile. Alara nodded, feeling the strength of their partnership solidify in that moment. Together, they would face whatever lay ahead, guided by doubt but driven by hope. And as they set out once more into the Martian landscape, Alara couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of a discovery that would change everything, not just for themselves, but for all of humanity. The whispers of the cosmic seed were growing louder, beckoning them onward into an uncertain future filled with possibility and wonder. Chapter 11, Celestial Conversations. Scene 1, Setup. The Martian twilight cast a delicate glow over the landscape, painting the crimson cliffs with hues of lavender and rose. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of an azure lake, its surface mirroring the ethereal dance of auroras above. Her mind was a tempest of thoughts, fueled by the whispers that seemed to emanate from the very air. The voices were elusive, like echoes of a forgotten dream, yet they stirred something deep within her, a call she could not ignore. Alara's goal was clear: to decipher the cryptic messages that resonated in this alien world and uncover the truth behind the cosmic phenomena. Yet, an immediate conflict loomed. Her team was divided, torn between scientific skepticism and the inexplicable experiences they had encountered. She needed their unity and trust to advance their mission. As she pondered her next move, Dr. Kalen Thorne approached, his silhouette sharp against the fading light. "Alara," he began, his voice a mix of curiosity and caution, "these spectral apparitions, do you truly believe they hold answers? Or are we chasing shadows?" "Kalen," Alara replied, her tone both firm and gentle, "I feel there's more here than meets the eye. These entities, they might be echoes of something ancient, something we can't yet comprehend." Kalen crossed his arms, his internal conflict evident. "Instincts aren't exactly quantifiable." "No," Alara agreed, a small smile playing at her lips, "but sometimes they're all we have, resolution or twist." Later that night, Alara found herself drawn back to the ridge overlooking the transformed landscape. The Martian sky was a tapestry of stars and swirling auroras, a cosmic dance that filled her with a sense of wonder and humility. As she stood there, lost in thought, Kalen joined her once more, his presence a comforting anchor amidst the unknown. "You really think we'll find answers out here?" he asked quietly, his skepticism tempered by genuine curiosity. Alara glanced at him, her eyes reflecting the starlight. "I think the answers find us when we're ready to hear them." A sudden shift in the wind brought with it a chorus of whispers, soft, melodic voices that seemed to speak directly to their souls. Alara and Kalen exchanged a look of shared understanding, an unspoken agreement passing between them. "It's time," Alara said, her voice filled with quiet determination. Kalen nodded, his earlier doubts giving way to a newfound openness. "Let's see where this path leads." Optional Scene 4, Aftermath Foreshadow. As dawn broke over Mars, bathing the landscape in hues of rose and amber, Alara and Kalen returned to their team with renewed purpose. The whispers had left them with more questions than answers, but also with a profound sense of connection, to each other, to Mars, and perhaps even to whatever cosmic force lay beyond. In the distance, the ruins shimmered under the morning light, their symbols glowing faintly as if in anticipation of what was to come. "We're on the brink of something extraordinary," Alara murmured to herself, hope threading through her words like a lifeline. And as they prepared for their next steps into the unknown, one thing was certain: the whispers of the cosmic seed were only just beginning to reveal their secrets. Chapter 40, Whispers of the Veil. The Martian twilight cast a gentle, ethereal glow over the landscape as Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of an azure lake, its surface shimmering under the pulsating light of bioluminescent flora. The air was crisp, carrying a hint of mystery that set her heart racing with both anticipation and trepidation. She had gathered her team for an evening briefing, their faces illuminated by the gentle luminescence surrounding them. "Tonight, we delve deeper," Alara announced, her voice steady yet infused with an undercurrent of excitement. "The structures we discovered hold secrets that could redefine our understanding of life itself. Our goal is to decode the symbols etched into their surfaces and see if they align with any known celestial patterns." Dr. Kalen Thorne stood beside her, arms crossed, his gaze fixed on the enigmatic ruins in the distance. "And what do we do if those symbols are just random markings?" he asked, his tone a blend of skepticism and curiosity. Alara turned to him, meeting his eyes with a calm assurance. "Then we find new ways to interpret them. This isn't just about science, Kalen. It's about listening, to Mars, to the whispers of the cosmos." Kalen's expression softened, a small concession to Alara's unyielding belief in the unseen. "All right," he conceded. "Let's see what these whispers have to say." As the team dispersed to prepare for their night's work, Alara lingered by the lake, her thoughts drifting to memories of her father. His voice seemed to echo within her mind, a ghostly presence urging her forward, reminding her of the legacy she sought to uncover. Confrontation. Beneath the canopy of stars, Alara and Kalen huddled together in one of the Martian structures, their holographic displays casting intricate patterns on the walls. The symbols glowed faintly, resonating with an energy that felt almost alive. The Martian twilight cast a soft, otherworldly glow over the landscape as Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a newly formed azure lake. Its surface shimmered like liquid sapphire under the light of the twin moons. Behind her, the haunting silhouettes of ancient ruins loomed, their cryptic symbols pulsating faintly with an inner light. The air was crisp and filled with the scent of alien flora, a reminder of the comet's transformative power. Alara's eyes were fixed on the horizon, where the sky met the endless expanse of Martian desert. Here she felt the whispers more strongly, a subtle hum that seemed to emanate from the very soil beneath her feet. It was as if the planet itself was attempting to communicate, weaving tales of forgotten civilizations and cosmic mysteries. Her heart swelled with a mix of awe and determination. This was why she had come, to unravel the grand design that lay hidden within these sands. Dr. Kalen Thorne approached, his footsteps barely audible on the alien terrain. His presence was a grounding force amidst the ethereal ambience. "Alara," he called softly, breaking the silence that enveloped them. "We've run some preliminary analyses on those symbols. The patterns are unlike anything in our databases." Alara turned to face him, her expression a blend of excitement and contemplation. "It's as though they're speaking a language we've yet to understand," she replied, her voice carrying an undercurrent of wonder. Kalen nodded, though his skepticism lingered. "Or perhaps it's a language we never will understand. Science has its limits, Alara." "Maybe," Alara conceded, "but I believe there's more at play here than mere coincidence or anomaly." She gestured towards the ruins. "These structures, their placement, it feels intentional." A breeze swept across the lake, sending ripples across its surface and rustling the leaves of nearby bioluminescent plants. For a moment, both scientists stood in silence, each grappling with their own thoughts and the enormity of what lay before them. "What's our next step?" Kalen asked finally, his tone pragmatic yet open to possibilities. "We need to decipher those symbols," Alara stated firmly. "I have a feeling they're key to understanding whatever intelligence left them behind." As Kalen considered her words, a faint, ghostly whisper seemed to echo in the distance, a reminder that they were not alone on this world. Scene 2, Confrontation. Later that evening, Alara and Kalen gathered with their team inside the central research dome, its transparent walls offering an unobstructed view of the Martian night sky. Stars twinkled like distant beacons of hope and mystery. The room buzzed with quiet activity as holographic displays projected images of the symbols and data collected from the ruins. Alara stood at the center, her presence commanding attention as she addressed her colleagues. "We've encountered phenomena that challenge our understanding," she began, her voice steady yet charged with emotion. "Ghostly figures, whispers in the wind, these aren't just figments of imagination. They might be echoes from an ancient intelligence." A murmur spread through the group, a mix of intrigue and apprehension. Kalen stepped forward, his expression serious but respectful. "I understand the allure of these experiences," he said, addressing both Alara and the team. "But we must remain grounded in our approach. We can't let speculation overshadow empirical evidence." Alara met his gaze with unwavering resolve. "I agree, Kalen, but we also can't dismiss what we've seen and felt. There's a balance we need to strike between skepticism and open-mindedness." Their exchange was charged with tension, yet beneath it lay a mutual respect forged through shared trials and discoveries. The team watched closely, aware that this dialogue was more than just an intellectual debate. It was a clash of ideologies that would shape their mission's direction. As abruptly as it began, the connection faded, leaving Alara breathless but enlightened. She turned to Kalen, her eyes shining with newfound insight. "The whispers, they're echoes of knowledge lost to time," she said softly. "And my father, he knew this place held answers." Kalen exhaled slowly, grappling with the implications of what they'd experienced. For once, his skepticism found itself yielding to possibility. Resolution, or twist. The return journey to their base camp was filled with contemplative silence, each step resonating with the weight of revelation. Alara felt an unfamiliar lightness in her heart, a sense of closure mingled with anticipation for what lay ahead. As they reached the camp's perimeter, Kalen broke the silence, his voice tinged with newfound respect. "Alara, I never thought I'd say this, but thank you for opening my eyes." She smiled gently, touched by his admission. "It's not about belief or disbelief," she replied. "It's about being willing to explore beyond what we know." Their shared experience had shifted the dynamic between them, a bridge forged from mutual understanding and trust. Together they had ventured into shadows and emerged with a deeper connection to both each other and the mysteries they sought to unravel. Yet amidst this resolution lay an unresolved tension, a question that lingered in the air like an unfinished melody, What role did these entities play in shaping Mars's rebirth? And how would humanity respond to such profound discoveries? Alara knew their journey was far from over. It had only just begun. Optional Scene 4. Aftermath Foreshadow. As night descended fully upon Mars, Alara stood alone beneath the starlit sky, a solitary figure silhouetted against infinity. Her thoughts drifted back to Earth and its bustling cities, filled with people who remained unaware of what awaited them among the stars. In that moment of solitude came clarity, a realization that transcended personal quests or scientific pursuits. Humanity was on the brink of transformation, a collective awakening that would redefine their place within this vast universe. With renewed purpose coursing through her veins like stardust woven into existence itself, Alara turned away from contemplation towards action, ready to embrace whatever cosmic truths awaited discovery beyond tomorrow's horizon. For now, though, the whispers continued, guiding her forward into realms where science met spirit and dreams danced alongside destiny beneath celestial skies uncharted by mortal minds alone. And so it was, with echoes lingering softly upon Martian winds, that Dr. Alara Voss prepared herself for whatever wondrous revelations awaited just beyond reach, amongst those eternal whispers of cosmic seeds yet sown. Chapter 13, Deciphering Symbols. Scene 1. The Martian dawn was a silent symphony of colors, casting elongated shadows across the alien landscape. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the entrance of the ancient ruins, her gaze fixed on the cryptic symbols etched into the stone. The air was crisp, tinged with a mysterious fragrance that seemed to whisper secrets from the past. Today, they would attempt to unravel these enigmatic carvings that had become an obsession for Alara. Dr. Kalen Thorne joined her, his expression a blend of skepticism and intrigue. "Alara," he began, adjusting his visor against the rising sun, "do you really think these symbols hold the answers we're seeking? Or are they just remnants of some long-forgotten civilization with no relevance to our current mystery?" Alara turned to face him, her eyes reflecting the determination that fueled her quest. "I believe," she replied softly, "that these symbols are keys to understanding not just this planet, but perhaps the very origins of life itself. We must approach them with both logic and intuition." Kalen nodded, though his scientific mind remained skeptical. "Let's see where this leads us, then. But remember, not everything mysterious is magical." As they prepared to delve into the ruins, a subtle tension lingered between them, a dance of differing philosophies united by a common goal. Hatched. Scene 2. Confrontation. Inside the ruins, the air grew colder and their footsteps echoed ominously against the stone walls. The symbols glowed faintly in the dim light, their patterns intricate and mesmerizing. Alara traced her fingers over them, feeling an unexplainable connection. "These aren't just random markings," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "They're part of a language that speaks to something ancient and cosmic." Kalen crossed his arms, studying her with a critical eye. "Or perhaps they're simply art," he countered, though his tone lacked its usual conviction. Their debate was interrupted by a sudden gust of wind that swept through the chamber, carrying with it an ethereal sound, a haunting melody that seemed to resonate with the symbols themselves. Alara and Kalen exchanged a glance, both startled and intrigued. "Did you hear that?" Alara asked, her heart racing. Kalen hesitated before responding. "I did, but what does it mean?" Before Alara could answer, the melody intensified, filling the room with an almost tangible presence. It was as if the very stones were singing, an ancient chorus that defied explanation. "We need to record this," Kalen said urgently, pulling out his equipment. "If there's a scientific explanation, we need data." But Alara was already lost in the music, her mind racing with possibilities that transcended science. She sensed that this was more than mere sound. It was a message, a bridge between worlds. Scene 3. Resolution or twist. As the melody faded, leaving an eerie silence in its wake, Alara felt a profound shift within herself. Her father's voice echoed in her memory, urging her to listen beyond the known and embrace the unknown. "Kalen," she said, turning to him with newfound resolve, "this isn't just about science or myth. It's about connection between us and whatever intelligence might have left these symbols." Kalen's skepticism wavered as he met her gaze. He saw not just a colleague, but a kindred spirit searching for truth in all its forms. "Perhaps you're right," he admitted slowly. Perhaps there's more here than we can measure. Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden glow emanating from one of the symbols, a brilliant light that enveloped them both in warmth and wonder. Alara reached out instinctively, feeling an energy course through her veins, a cosmic whisper that promised answers if only they dared to listen. Optional Scene 4. Aftermath Foreshadow. Outside the ruins, as twilight descended upon Mars, Alara and Kaelin sat side by side, contemplating the day's revelations. The sky above was a tapestry of stars and auroras, painting a picture of infinite possibility. "We're on the brink of something extraordinary," Alara mused aloud. "Something that could change everything we know about life and our place in the universe." Kaelin nodded thoughtfully. "Whatever it is," he replied, "we'll face it together with open minds and open hearts." As they watched the celestial dance unfold above them, both scientists knew that their journey had only just begun. The symbols were but one piece of a larger puzzle, one that beckoned them deeper into the mysteries of Mars and beyond. And so, with hope kindling within them like a flame, they prepared for whatever lay ahead, ready to embrace the whispers of the cosmic seed and uncover truths that could redefine humanity's destiny. Chapter 14. The Fractured Team. Scene Setup, Doctor. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a Martian cliff, the crimson rock beneath her feet crumbling slightly with each step. Below, the azure lake reflected the sky, a mirror of the infinite cosmos that seemed to whisper secrets only she could hear. The air was crisp and thin, yet it carried a weight that spoke of untapped potential. Her gaze shifted to the horizon, where the comet's impact had transformed Mars into a vibrant tableau of life. It was here, amidst this miraculous rebirth, that she sought answers, both scientific and personal. But today, there was an undercurrent of tension in the air, a palpable rift within her team that threatened their mission. She turned back towards the encampment, where Dr. Kaelin Thorne was engaged in a heated discussion with another team member. Alara approached, her presence immediately felt as the argument simmered down. "Kaelin," she began, her voice steady yet gentle, "what's going on?" Kaelin's eyes flickered with frustration. "Alara, we need to reassess our approach. The data from last night's encounter doesn't align with any known phenomena. It's as if," he hesitated, searching for words that would not betray his scientific skepticism, "as if we're dealing with something beyond our current understanding." Alara nodded, sensing the conflict brewing within Kaelin, the struggle between his empirical nature and the unexplainable experiences they were encountering. "I understand your concerns, Kaelin, but perhaps it's time we consider that not everything can be quantified." Kaelin folded his arms, his brow furrowed. "And what do you propose, that we start attributing these anomalies to ghosts or ancient gods?" "Not necessarily," Alara replied, her tone calm yet firm. "But we should remain open to all possibilities, even those that challenge our beliefs." The team gathered around them, sensing the gravity of the conversation. It was clear that unity was crucial if they were to unravel Mars's mysteries, a goal that now seemed as fractured as their resolve. Scene 2. Confrontation. As night fell over the Martian landscape, an ethereal glow bathed the encampment in soft hues of blue and green. The team huddled around a holographic display projecting the day's findings, a montage of spectral images and cryptic symbols etched into alien structures. Kaelin leaned forward, pointing at one of the images. "Look at this pattern," he said, his voice laced with urgency. "It's repeated across multiple sites. This isn't random, there's a logic to it." Alara studied the symbols, her mind racing with possibilities. "It could be a form of communication," she mused aloud, "a language left by an ancient intelligence." "Or it's an elaborate geological formation," Kaelin countered, though his words lacked conviction. Their debate was interrupted by a sudden flicker in the hologram. A ghostly figure materialized briefly before vanishing into the ether. The room fell silent, each team member grappling with what they'd just witnessed. Alara broke the silence, her voice a whisper that carried through the stillness. "We can't ignore these encounters any longer. Whether they're manifestations of our minds or echoes of something greater, they hold meaning." Kaelin looked at her, his skepticism tempered by curiosity. "And if they are real, what then?" "Then we must listen," Alara replied simply. "Listen to their whispers and seek to understand." The tension in the room shifted, a subtle alignment of wills as each member recognized the importance of their shared journey. They were explorers standing on the precipice of discovery, bound by a common purpose that transcended their differences. Scene 3. Resolution or twist. In the days that followed, Alara and Kaylin found themselves drawn together in their quest for answers. Their debates became less about proving each other wrong and more about expanding their collective understanding. One evening, as they walked along the Martian surface beneath a sky ablaze with auroras, Kaylin spoke with newfound openness. "I've been thinking about what you said, about being open to possibilities. It's not easy for me to let go of empirical evidence, but maybe there's room for both science and mystery." Alara smiled softly, her eyes reflecting the dancing lights above. "That's all I've ever hoped for, that we embrace the unknown together and find strength in our differences." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden gust of wind, carrying with it a faint melody that seemed to rise from the ground itself, a haunting tune that resonated deep within their souls. They stopped, listening intently as the music swirled around them like a cosmic lullaby. In that moment, both scientists felt an undeniable connection to something far greater than themselves. A realization that their journey was not just about uncovering Mars's like secrets, but also about discovering their own place in the universe. Scene 4. Aftermath, Foreshadow. As they returned to camp, Alara couldn't shake the feeling that their discoveries were only just beginning. There was so much more to learn about Mars, about each other, and about the forces at play in this transformed world. With renewed determination, she glanced at Kaylin and saw in his eyes a reflection of her own resolve, a shared commitment to continue exploring together despite whatever challenges lay ahead. The night sky stretched endlessly above them, filled with stars that whispered promises of discovery and connection, a cosmic seed planted within their hearts that would grow and guide them on their path. In that moment of unity and hope, Alara knew they would face whatever came next with courage and curiosity, embracing both science and spirit as they ventured into the unknown realms waiting beyond the horizon. Chapter 15. Visions of Creation. Scene 1. The Martian dawn crept across the transformed landscape, painting the sky in hues of violet and gold. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a cliff overlooking the azure lake that had formed in the crater of the comet's impact. The air was crisp, carrying a hint of mystery that seemed to whisper through the tendrils of bioluminescent flora swaying gently in the breeze. Alara's heart thrummed with anticipation as she prepared for the day's exploration. Today, her goal was clear: to decipher the cryptic symbols etched into the ancient structures that had emerged from the Martian soil. These symbols, glowing faintly under the starlight, held secrets she was determined to unravel. Her communicator crackled to life, pulling her from her thoughts. It was Dr. Kaylin Thorne, his voice tinged with its usual skepticism. "Alara, we need to talk about these ghosts you've been seeing. I still maintain they're just projections, some sort of electromagnetic interference or light anomaly." Alara sighed, a smile tugging at her lips despite herself. "Kaylin, I know what I saw, and you will too once you open your mind a little." He chuckled dryly, a sound both familiar and comforting. "I prefer opening my mind with data, not ghost stories." Their banter was a dance they knew well, a blend of camaraderie and challenge that pushed them both to explore beyond their comfort zones. "We'll see," Alara replied, determination lacing her words. "Meet me by the ruins in an hour. There's something there I want you to see." As she ended the call, Alara glanced once more at the horizon where the sun kissed the land awake. The day promised revelations, but also conflict, an immediate seed of tension that simmered beneath their quest for understanding. Scene 2. Confrontation. The ruins loomed ahead, their surfaces marked with intricate designs that pulsed with an enigmatic glow. Alara stood before them, tracing her fingers over the patterns that felt both ancient and alien. Kaylin arrived, his expression a mix of curiosity and doubt. "All right, Alara, show me what you find so intriguing." She gestured towards the symbols. "These markings, they're like nothing we've seen before. They remind me of ancient Earth scripts, yet they defy translation." Kaylin examined them closely, his scientific mind already calculating possibilities. They could be a form of communication, perhaps a mathematical language or a code. Or, Alara interjected softly, they could be messages from those who walked this land before us, echoes of a civilization we can't begin to comprehend. His gaze met hers, a silent challenge hanging between them. You really believe in these spirits, don't you? I do, she replied, her voice steady with conviction. I believe they're trying to tell us something important. Their conversation was charged with subtext, each defending their worldview, yet drawn by an unspoken need to understand one another. Kalen sighed, rubbing the back of his neck thoughtfully. I suppose it's possible that there's more here than meets the eye. That's all I'm asking for you to consider the possibility, Alara said gently. A moment passed between them, a fragile bridge spanning science and belief. Scene 3, resolution or twist. As they continued their examination, a sudden gust of wind swept through the ruins, carrying with it a chorus of ethereal whispers that danced around them like an invisible symphony. Alara froze, her heart pounding in recognition. The whispers were clearer now, words she couldn't quite grasp but felt deep within her soul. Kalen's eyes widened, his skepticism wavering in the face of undeniable experience. Did you hear that? Yes, Alara breathed, awe threading her voice. It's them. The air shimmered, and for a fleeting moment ghostly figures appeared amidst the ruins, translucent beings whose presence was as real as it was impossible. Kalen stood transfixed, his disbelief crumbling under the weight of this shared vision. How is this happening? Alara reached out instinctively, her hand brushing against the cool air where one of the figures lingered. I don't know, but it's beautiful. In that instant, their dynamic shifted, a relationship once defined by contention now forged anew by shared wonder. Optional Scene 4, Aftermath, Foreshadow. As the figures faded into the ether, leaving only silence in their wake, Alara and Kalen remained rooted to the spot, absorbing the implications of what they'd witnessed. Alara turned to Kalen, her eyes alight with possibility. This changes everything. He nodded slowly, acceptance dawning in his gaze. It seems we're part of something far greater than we ever imagined. Their journey had only just begun, but already it promised answers that transcended science and spirit alike, a cosmic tapestry woven with threads of mystery and hope. With renewed purpose, they set off together towards the next unknown horizon, partners in discovery and seekers of truth amidst the whispers of creation. Chapter 16, The Ancient Architects. Scene 1, The Gathering Storm. The Martian twilight cast a golden glow over the nascent landscape, painting the newly formed lakes and alien flora with an ethereal light. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a cliff, her gaze fixed on the horizon, where the comet 3I Atlas had left its indelible mark. Her mind swirled with questions that seemed to echo the whispers in the wind. Were these entities that haunted their dreams real, or figments of their overstressed imaginations? Alara, called Dr. Kalen Thorne, breaking her reverie. He approached with measured steps, his expression a blend of curiosity and concern. The team is ready for the evening briefing. We need to discuss today's findings. Alara nodded, tearing her gaze from the mesmerizing vista. Yes, of course. Let's see what insights we've gathered today. But even as she turned away, she felt the presence linger, a silent promise of secrets yet to be revealed. As they walked back to their makeshift base, Alara sensed a shift in Kalen's demeanor, a subtle tension that hinted at more than just scientific inquiry. "What's on your mind, Kalen?" she asked, her tone gentle yet probing. He hesitated, glancing up at the Martian sky where auroras danced in silent symphony. "It's this place," he admitted finally. "There's something different about it. I can't quite put my finger on it." Alara smiled, a knowing look in her eyes. "It's as if Mars itself is alive, isn't it? Like it's trying to tell us something." Kalen chuckled softly, though his eyes betrayed a flicker of intrigue. "You and your whispers, always chasing shadows." "Sometimes," Alara replied, her tone playful yet earnest, "shadows hold the keys to hidden doors." Their banter was interrupted by a soft rustle, as if the wind itself carried secrets across the Martian plains. Alara's heart quickened, a sensation she had come to recognize as the presence of the unseen. "We should start there," Kalen suggested, pointing towards the ruins. "If there's any scientific basis for these phenomena, that's where we'll find it." Alara agreed, though she couldn't shake the feeling that their journey was about to take an unexpected turn. Scene 2, Confrontation. As they approached the ruins, the air grew heavy with anticipation. The structures rose from the red soil like sentinels of an ancient world, their surfaces etched with symbols that glowed faintly under the starlight. These markings, Kaelin mused, tracing a finger over one of the carvings, they resemble quantum entanglement patterns. It's as if this place is a nexus of some kind. Alara's eyes widened at his admission, a rare moment where science and myth seemed to converge. "Do you think?" she began, but hesitated. Kaelin turned to her, his skepticism softened by genuine curiosity. "Think what? That maybe these ruins are more than just relics? That they could be conduits for something beyond our understanding?" Kaelin paused, his analytical mind wrestling with the notion. "It's a stretch," he admitted, "but I can't deny there's something here that defies logic." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden chill, a breeze that seemed to carry voices, soft murmurs that danced around them like phantoms. Alara shivered, though not from the cold. "Do you hear that?" Kaelin nodded slowly, his expression shifting from disbelief to wonder. "I do." The whispers grew louder, weaving tales of forgotten realms and cosmic seeds sown across galaxies. Alara and Kaelin exchanged glances, their unspoken agreement to follow this mysterious call binding them in shared purpose. Resolution or twist? Guided by the ethereal voices, they ventured deeper into the ruins until they reached a chamber bathed in an otherworldly glow. At its center stood an obelisk, its surface alive with shifting patterns that seemed to respond to their presence. "This is it," Alara breathed, a sense of awe washing over her. Kaelin approached cautiously, his hand hovering over the obelisk's surface. "It's as if it's alive," he remarked, a hint of reverence in his voice. As if in response, the obelisk pulsed with light, casting intricate shadows that danced along the walls like living murals. The room filled with a symphony of whispers, voices from eons past that spoke of creation and connection. In that moment, Alara felt a profound shift within her, a realization that perhaps her father's disappearance was intertwined with these mysteries, that his quest for knowledge had led him to this very place. Kaelin turned to her, his eyes reflecting the same revelation. "Alara," he said softly, "maybe your father was right all along." She nodded, tears welling in her eyes not from sorrow but from hope, the hope that answers lay within reach. Optional scene 4th foreshadow. As they exited the chamber, the whispers faded into silence, leaving behind an echo of promise. Alara and Kaelin stood side by side under the Martian sky, their bond strengthened by shared discovery and newfound understanding. "What's next?" Kaelin asked, his voice carrying both anticipation and uncertainty. Alara gazed at the stars above, their brilliance a reminder of the vastness yet to explore. "We follow where the whispers lead," she replied with quiet determination. And as they set forth into the unknown, the universe seemed to hum with possibility. A cosmic melody that promised more than answers, but a journey towards enlightenment and connection beyond imagination. Chapter 29, Whispers of the Cosmic Seed. Setup. And as dreams took hold, she knew that whatever lay ahead would be faced not with fear but with hope. Hope that the mysteries of Mars would illuminate not only their understanding of life but also their very souls. The journey was far from over. Indeed, it had only just begun. Chapter 17, Political Intrigue. Setup. The Martian landscape, now teeming with life, basked in the soft hues of dawn. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a newly formed azure lake, its surface reflecting the vibrant auroras that danced across the sky. Her mind was a whirlpool of thoughts, each one pulled by the gravitational force of a singular goal, to unlock the secrets hidden within Mars's transformed terrain. Alara's immediate conflict lay not in the mysteries of Mars, but in the bureaucratic tangles that threatened her mission. The Earth-Mars communication relay had been buzzing with diplomatic chatter, each message a veiled attempt to assert control over the discoveries made on Mars. Nations back on Earth were eager to lay claim to the newfound life and resources, their political machinations weaving an intricate web around Alara's scientific endeavors. As she watched the Martian sunrise, Alara sensed an ethereal presence beside her, a whisper of a figure translucent and shimmering in the dim light. These ghostly entities had become familiar companions, their presence both comforting and disconcerting. They seemed to echo her own thoughts, nudging her towards clarity amidst the chaos. "Balance must be found," the spirit seemed to murmur, its voice a gentle breeze against her consciousness. Alara nodded silently, understanding that her path forward required navigating not just the cosmic mysteries, but also the political labyrinth that threatened to ensnare them all. Scene 2. Confrontation. In the command center, holographic displays flickered with data streams and communication feeds. Dr. Kalen Thorne, his expression a mask of analytical focus, tapped away at a console, dissecting the latest readings from Mars' atmospheric sensors. The room hummed with tension as Alara entered, her presence drawing Kalen's gaze. "We're being pressured to share our findings prematurely," Alara stated, her voice steady, yet edged with frustration. "Political interests are demanding access before we've even begun to understand what we're dealing with." Kalen frowned, his skepticism momentarily overshadowed by concern. They're afraid of what they don't understand, but rushing this could jeopardize everything we've worked for. Their conversation unfolded like a chess match, each word carefully chosen and laden with subtext. Alara's distrust of authority clashed with Kalen's pragmatic approach, yet beneath their ideological differences lay a shared commitment to uncovering the truth. "Do you think these entities have any bearing on what's happening?" Kalen asked, his voice tinged with curiosity despite himself. Alara hesitated, then shook her head. "I don't know, but their presence feels significant, like they're guiding us towards something we can't yet see." Kalen nodded thoughtfully, his skepticism tempered by recent experiences that defied explanation. "Then we need to tread carefully. We can't let politics blind us to what's truly important." Their dialogue crackled with tension and unspoken fears, yet it also forged a deeper bond between them, an understanding that transcended their differences and united them in purpose. 3. Or twist. As the day wore on, Alara and Kalen convened with their team in the expansive research lab nestled within the Martian base. The room buzzed with anticipation as they prepared to present their findings to Earth's governing council via holographic link. As Alara spoke, outlining the significance of their discoveries and urging caution against hasty decisions driven by political agendas, she felt an unexpected shift in the room's atmosphere. The ghostly figures appeared once more, their forms coalescing into a spectral assembly that seemed to watch over them. A sudden realization struck Alara. These entities were not mere figments of imagination, but echoes of an ancient intelligence seeking connection through them. The revelation was both exhilarating and daunting, reshaping her understanding of their mission. Just as she concluded her presentation, an unexpected transmission interrupted their feed. A message from an influential Earth diplomat offering unprecedented support in exchange for exclusive rights to certain data. It was a calculated move designed to test their resolve. Kalen stepped forward, his voice firm and resolute. "We stand united in our pursuit of knowledge for all humanity. Our findings belong to no one nation but to every soul under these stars." The declaration marked a pivotal moment, a shift in leverage that reaffirmed their commitment to transparency and integrity. The Council's response was measured but respectful, acknowledging their stance, while leaving the door open for future collaboration. Optional Scene 4, Aftermath. As night descended upon Mars once more, Alara found herself drawn back to the lake's edge. The spirits lingered there, their whispers mingling with the wind in an otherworldly symphony. "Your path is woven with choices," they seemed to say. "Each decision shapes the tapestry of destiny." Alara breathed deeply, feeling a newfound clarity settling within her soul. The challenges ahead were formidable, yet she embraced them with renewed determination, a testament to her resilience and the cosmic connection that guided her journey. With a final glance at the shimmering horizon, Alara turned away from the water's edge. Her heart was alight with hope and purpose, ready to face whatever lay beyond the stars. The chapter ended on this note of unresolved tension, an invitation for readers to ponder what lies ahead for Alara and her team as they navigate both celestial mysteries and earthly intrigue. Chapter 18, Personal Healing. The Martian twilight cast long shadows over the nascent landscape, painting the crimson cliffs with hues of violet and amber. Dr. Alara Voss stood on a ridge overlooking the azure lake that mirrored the sky, its surface rippling with whispers of an ancient past. Her mind was a whirl of thoughts, a kaleidoscope of scientific intrigue and personal longing. She had come to Mars seeking answers, not just about the comet's impact, but about herself, about the father who had vanished into the cosmos, leaving behind echoes of mystery and loss. As she descended towards their camp, nestled among bioluminescent flora that pulsed gently in the growing darkness, Alara felt the weight of her dual quest. The ghostly figures they had encountered were as much a part of this world now as the air she breathed, their presence both unsettling and oddly comforting. But what did they want? What secrets did they hold about the universe, about her father? "Alara," came a voice, pulling her from her reverie. Dr. Kalen Thorne approached, his expression a mix of curiosity and concern. "Have you seen the latest readings? The energy signatures around those ruins are fluctuating again." Alara nodded, her gaze drifting to the distant structures etched with cryptic symbols. "Yes, I saw them. It's as if they're alive, responding to something we're yet to understand." Kalen studied her, his skepticism softened by genuine interest. "Do you think they're connected to—" He hesitated, the rational scientist in him struggling with the inexplicable. "I do," Alara replied softly. "But what they want, or why they're here, that's still a mystery." A silence settled between them, filled with unspoken questions and the hum of the Martian night. Alara knew she had to find a way to bridge the gap between science and the supernatural, to heal not just her own wounds, but perhaps those of an entire world. Scene 2. Confrontation. Later that evening, as the team gathered around a holographic display projecting data from their latest scans, the air was thick with tension and anticipation. The camp's central hub was abuzz with activity, yet a palpable sense of unease lingered beneath the surface. Kalen leaned forward, pointing at a series of spikes on the screen. "These energy fluctuations are unlike anything we've recorded before. They don't match any known phenomena." Alara watched him closely, noting the flicker of doubt in his eyes, a crack in the armor of his skepticism. "What if these readings are manifestations of something beyond our current understanding?" she suggested carefully. Kalen's gaze met hers, a challenge glinting within. "You're suggesting these entities are responsible?" "Not responsible," Alara corrected, "but perhaps aware. Maybe they're trying to communicate." A murmur rippled through the room, and Kalen frowned, crossing his arms. "We can't base our research on conjecture and myth." "But isn't that what science is?" Alara countered, her voice steady but impassioned. "A journey into the unknown, exploring possibilities that seem impossible until proven otherwise?" Their exchange drew the attention of their colleagues, who watched with interest as two brilliant minds clashed over the nature of reality itself. "Look," Kalen said finally, his tone softening, "I want to believe there's more to this than we can see, but we need evidence." "And maybe," Alara replied gently, "the evidence isn't something we can measure in traditional ways. Maybe it's something we feel." The room fell silent, each team member lost in thought. The ghosts of Mars loomed large in their minds, an enigma wrapped in whispers and shadows. Scene 3. Resolution or twist. As night deepened over Mars, Alara sat alone by the lake's edge, the water reflecting stars that seemed to dance just for her. She closed her eyes, letting the cool breeze carry away her doubts and fears. In that moment of solitude, she heard it, a whisper carried on the wind, a voice both familiar and foreign. It spoke not in words but in emotions, in memories that tugged at her heartstrings. She opened her eyes to find a figure standing beside her, a spectral form that shimmered with an ethereal light. It was not her father, but there was a resonance, a connection that stirred something deep within her. "Who are you?" she whispered aloud, though she knew no answer would come. Yet in the silence that followed, she felt a sense of peace envelop her, a promise that she was not alone in this quest for understanding and healing. The figure faded into the night, leaving behind a warmth that lingered long after it was gone. Optional Scene 4. Aftermath/foreshadow. The next morning brought new resolve to Alara's spirit. As she joined her team for another day of exploration and discovery, she felt lighter, as if a burden had been lifted. Kalen approached her with a tentative smile. "I've been thinking," he said cautiously, "about what you said last night, about feeling rather than measuring." Alara looked at him with renewed hope. And maybe it's time I started listening more," he admitted with a sheepish grin. Their laughter mingled with the Martian breeze, a sound full of promise and possibility. As they prepared to delve deeper into Mars's mysteries together, Alara knew their journey was far from over. But whatever lay ahead, be it ghosts or gods or cosmic truths, she was ready to face it with courage and an open heart. And somewhere in the vastness of space, she hoped her father watched over her still, a guiding star on this path of personal healing and discovery. Chapter 19, The Grand Design 1, Setup. One of the younger scientists raised a hand hesitantly. Dr. Voss, Dr. Thorne, what if these phenomena are connected to our own consciousness? Could they be reflections of our thoughts or emotions? Alara considered this thoughtfully before responding. It's possible, she acknowledged, but whether they're internal manifestations or external forces doesn't change their significance. Kaelin nodded slowly, digesting her words. Perhaps we should explore both avenues, scientific analysis alongside introspective exploration. The suggestion hung in the air like an unspoken pact, a recognition that their journey required both logic and intuition. Scene 3, Resolution or Twist. As the meeting concluded, Alara found herself drawn back to the ruins under the starlit sky. The symbols seemed to glow brighter in her presence, as if responding to her silent plea for understanding. She reached out tentatively, tracing her fingers along the etched lines. A sudden warmth spread through her hand, a sensation both comforting and exhilarating. In that moment, she felt an inexplicable connection to something vast and ancient. Kaelin joined her quietly, observing her interaction with a mixture of curiosity and newfound openness. "Do you feel it?" he asked softly. Alara nodded, her eyes reflecting both wonder and determination. "It's like they're alive, waiting for us to listen." Their shared experience marked a turning point, a shift from confrontation to collaboration, as they embraced the possibility that science and spirituality could coexist harmoniously. Together, they began to unravel the mysteries encoded within those symbols, each discovery bringing them closer to unveiling the grand design that lay hidden beneath Mars's surface. Scene 4, Aftermath, Foreshadow. As dawn broke over the Martian landscape, painting it in hues of gold and crimson, Alara stood at the lake's edge once more. The whispers were louder now, no longer mere echoes, but a chorus urging her forward. She knew their journey was far from over. New challenges awaited them beyond each revelation. Yet amidst uncertainty lay hope, a belief that they were part of something greater than themselves. With renewed purpose burning brightly within her heart, Alara turned towards Kaelin and their team, ready to face whatever lay ahead together. In this moment of unity and anticipation for what awaited them beyond known horizons lay an unspoken promise. They would continue seeking answers among stars until every whisper revealed its truth, their legacy intertwined with cosmic destiny forevermore. And so began another chapter in their quest, a journey guided by whispers from beyond time itself, each step drawing them closer to uncovering humanity's place within universal tapestry woven by unseen hands shaping worlds anew from stardust dreams whispered long ago into night skies above Mars. Reborn realm where secrets dance like auroras across alien heavens, beaconing explorers daring enough listen, hear, understand, embrace unknown truths, waiting patiently reveal themselves. Those willing brave enough seek, discover, embrace infinite possibilities laying just beyond reachy. Yet always within grasp, those who dared believe, imagine, hope, dream endlessly, ever onward into future filled endless wonder, a wet discovery, renewal, rebirth, transcendence, all things possible, when hearts, minds aligned, purpose, intention, vision, seeking paths leading toward light, enlightenment, awakening, ultimate understanding, connection, unity, harmony, peace, love, grace, joy, fulfillment, eternal quest, meaning, purpose, existence itself. Unfolding before eyes, souls reaching out, touch stars become one universe itself, living, breathing entity, a live, vibrant, full potential, waiting, realized, those willing, listen, whispers, cosmic seed planted deep within hearts, souls yearning, grow, flourish, bloom, eternal garden, life, love, light, beauty, grace, wisdom, knowledge, power, strength, courage, hope, faith, trust, peace, harmony, bay. Lance, unity, wholeness, oneness, divine, essence is source creation itself, manifesting through us all beings everywhere always, forevermore without end, beginning only continuance, evolution, transformation, transcendence, beyond, beyond, beyond. Chapter 20, A New Beginning. Scene 1, Setup. The Martian dawn broke gently over the horizon, casting a soft glow across the alien landscape. The air was crisp, carrying with it a whisper of possibilities yet to be uncovered. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of the azure lake, her gaze fixed on the distant crimson cliffs that marked the boundary of their exploration zone. Here, amidst the nascent ecosystems and bioluminescent flora, she felt the pull of both mystery and destiny. Alara, Dr. Kalen Thorne's voice broke through her reverie, a blend of curiosity and skepticism. He approached with measured steps, his eyes scanning the horizon as if seeking answers in the very air. "Have you decided on our next course of action?" Alara turned to him, her eyes reflecting both determination and a hint of vulnerability. "We need to decipher the symbols on those ruins," she replied, gesturing towards the enigmatic structures that rose like sentinels from the Martian soil. "They might hold the key to understanding this transformation." Kalen nodded, though his expression remained skeptical. "And what about the entities?" he asked, choosing his words carefully. "Do you really believe they are more than manifestations of our own minds?" Alara hesitated, her mind a whirl of logic and instinct. "I don't know what they are, Kalen," she admitted softly. "But I can't ignore their presence. There's something here, something beyond our understanding." The tension between them was palpable, a dance of belief and doubt that had defined their partnership from the beginning. Yet beneath it lay a shared goal, to uncover the truth, whatever it might be. Scene 2. Confrontation. As they walked towards the ruins, their conversation deepened into a philosophical debate that seemed to echo across the Martian plains. "You're suggesting that these symbols are messages from an ancient intelligence?" Kalen's voice carried an edge of incredulity, though not without a flicker of intrigue. "Not just messages," Alara countered, her tone steady yet passionate. "They could be instructions, a map to something greater than we can imagine." Kalen stopped, turning to face her fully. "And what if it's all just coincidence? Patterns we see because we want to see them?" Alara met his gaze, her eyes unwavering. "Isn't that what science is, Kalen? The pursuit of patterns in chaos?" Their words hung in the air, charged with an energy that was both challenging and invigorating. It was a familiar dance, one that had pushed them both to explore beyond their comfort zones. "Even if you're right," Kalen said finally, his voice softer now, "how do we communicate with them? How do we even begin to understand what they're trying to tell us?" A gentle breeze rustled the alien leaves around them as if in response to his question. Alara smiled faintly, feeling a sense of connection to the world around her. "We listen," she said simply. "We open our minds and listen." Scene 3. Resolution or twist. As they reached the ruins, the symbols etched into their surfaces seemed to glow faintly under the starlight, casting an ethereal luminescence that was both inviting and daunting. Alara knelt beside one of the symbols, tracing its intricate design with her fingers. The touch sent a shiver through her, a sensation that was both familiar and foreign. She closed her eyes, letting herself be guided by intuition rather than logic. "Kalen," she called softly, her voice carrying a note of awe. "Come see this." He joined her, crouching beside her with a mixture of skepticism and curiosity. As he studied the symbols, something shifted within him, a subtle but profound change that defied explanation. "I feel something," he admitted reluctantly, his voice tinged with wonder. "It's like an echo." Alara nodded, her heart swelling with a sense of shared discovery. "An echo of something ancient," she murmured, "something that connects us all." In that moment, their relationship shifted. A bridge formed between science and spirituality, between skepticism and belief. It was a moment of unity that promised new beginnings for them both. Scene 4. Aftermath foreshadow. As they rose from the ruins, the Martian night enveloped them in its enigmatic embrace. The sky above was alive with stars that whispered secrets to those who dared to listen. "We have much to learn," Kalen said quietly, his gaze fixed on the heavens. Alara nodded, feeling a renewed sense of purpose coursing through her veins. "And much to discover," she agreed. As they walked back towards their camp, the ghostly figures that had once seemed so distant now felt like companions on their journey. A journey that promised revelations yet to come. In the silence that followed, there was a sense of anticipation, a promise that this new beginning would lead them to truths beyond imagination. The whispers of the cosmic seed echoed in their hearts, urging them forward into the unknown with hope and wonder as their guides. Chapter 21, Reflections on the Journey. Setup. The Martian night was alive with an ethereal glow, auroras painting the sky in hues of violet and emerald. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a bioluminescent field, her breath visible in the crisp air. She held a small, iridescent stone, a fragment from the comet 3I Atlas in her palm, feeling its gentle warmth seep into her skin. It was a tangible piece of the cosmic puzzle she had devoted her life to solving. Alara's thoughts drifted to her father, whose absence lingered like a shadow in her mind. She had come to Mars seeking answers, both scientific and personal. The whispers of ghostly entities that seemed to echo legends from Earth's past had only deepened the mystery. Were they manifestations of her grief, or did they truly hold secrets of the universe? Her communicator chimed softly, pulling her back to the present. Dr. Kaelin Thorne's voice crackled through the static. "Alara, are you out there again? You're going to catch your death of cold." Alara smiled, imagining Kaelin's skeptical frown even without seeing it. "Just needed some air, Kaelin. The stars are particularly talkative tonight." "Stars don't talk," Kaelin retorted, though there was a hint of amusement in his tone. "But if you're ready, we should discuss our next steps. The team is waiting." As Alara turned back toward the base, she felt the familiar tug of responsibility mixed with the thrill of discovery. Tonight, they would delve deeper into the cryptic symbols etched into the ancient structures scattered across Mars, a language that might bridge the gap between myth and reality. Scene 2, Confrontation. Inside the makeshift lab, holographic displays flickered with data streams and spectral analyses of Martian soil samples. The team gathered around a central table where projections of the mysterious symbols hovered like ghostly apparitions. Kaelin leaned forward, his brow furrowed in concentration. These patterns, they resemble quantum waveforms, but with an added layer of complexity that defies our current understanding. Alara nodded, tracing a finger through one of the holograms. It's as if they're meant to be both seen and heard, a symphony of meaning waiting for us to decipher it. "But what if we're reading too much into this?" Kaelin challenged gently. "We could be projecting our own desires onto random phenomena." Their eyes met, and Alara saw the familiar skepticism in Kaelin's gaze, a skepticism that kept her grounded even as it frustrated her. "And what if we're not?" she countered softly. "What if these symbols are a message from an ancient intelligence?" The room fell silent as each team member pondered the implications. Kaelin sighed, rubbing his temples. "I just don't want us chasing ghosts when we should be focusing on tangible science." Alara reached across the table, placing her hand over Kaelin's. "Sometimes the intangible holds the key to understanding the tangible, Kaelin. We need both perspectives." His expression softened, and he gave a reluctant nod. "All right, let's explore both avenues, but we need to proceed with caution." As they resumed their analysis, the tension between skepticism and belief hung in the air, a delicate balance that would guide them forward. Scene 3, Resolution or Twist. Later that night, Alara found herself alone in the observation dome, surrounded by the celestial panorama of Mars's reborn landscape. The symbols they'd studied danced in her mind, intertwining with memories of her father and his own enigmatic pursuits. A soft rustle caught her attention, and she turned to see a faint figure shimmering in the corner of her vision, a ghostly apparition that seemed both familiar and otherworldly. It whispered words she couldn't quite hear but felt in her bones. Her heart raced as she reached out instinctively, drawn to the presence that defied explanation. Was it a trick of the mind or something more profound? The figure faded as quickly as it had appeared, leaving Alara with a lingering sense of connection, a bridge between past and present, science and myth. As she stood there, bathed in starlight, Alara realized that perhaps the answers she sought were not meant to be fully understood, but rather embraced as part of a larger cosmic tapestry. Scene 4, Aftermath Foreshadow. The following morning, Alara shared her experience with Kaelin over breakfast in the mess hall. He listened intently, his skepticism tempered by curiosity. "You think it was real?" he asked quietly. "I don't know," Alara admitted, "but I feel different, like I've glimpsed a truth beyond words." Kaelin nodded slowly, his own convictions subtly shifting in light of their shared journey. Maybe there's more to this universe than we can quantify. As they prepared to continue their research, Alara felt a renewed sense of purpose, a determination to unravel not just the mysteries of Mars, but also those within herself. And somewhere in the vastness above, the stars continued their silent dance, whispering secrets to those willing to listen. Chapter 21 ends on this note of unresolved tension and discovery, setting the stage for further exploration and introspection as Alara and Kaelin navigate their intertwined paths toward understanding and connection. Chapter 22, A Legacy of Wonder, Scene 1. Setup. The Martian dawn broke with an otherworldly grace, painting the sky in hues of violet and gold. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a newly formed azure lake, her mind a whirlpool of thoughts as she contemplated their next move. The mission had taken an unexpected turn, and she needed to regain focus. Beside her, the once barren landscape now thrived with bioluminescent flora that pulsed gently in response to the rising sun, whispering secrets she longed to decipher. Alara's goal was clear: unravel the mysteries left by the comet's impact and decipher the cryptic symbols etched into the ruins they had discovered. But immediate conflict loomed. A schism within her team threatened their unity. Dr. Kaelin Thorne, her trusted colleague and intellectual adversary, had begun to question the very foundation of their findings. "We're at a crossroads, Alara," Kaelin said, his voice a blend of frustration and concern. "These entities, whatever they are, don't fit into any scientific framework. We need empirical evidence, not ghost stories." Alara turned to face him, her eyes reflecting both determination and empathy. "Kaelin, I understand your skepticism, but what if there's more to this than science alone can explain? What if these whispers are trying to guide us?" Kaelin sighed, his gaze drifting to the shimmering horizon. "I want to believe, Alara. I do. But without concrete data, we're grasping at shadows." Their conversation hung in the air, laden with subtext that spoke of unvoiced fears and hopes. It was a dance of words where each step forward was met with a cautious retreat, an intricate balance between belief and disbelief. Scene 3. Resolution or Twist. As night descended fully upon Mars, Alara and Kaelin ventured outside once more, drawn by an inexplicable pull towards the mysterious ruins. The sky above was a canvas of stars, each one seeming to whisper secrets of ancient times. They stood side by side in silence, their differences momentarily set aside as they gazed upon the celestial beauty surrounding them. It was then that Alara felt it, a gentle presence brushing against her consciousness like a tender caress. "Do you feel that?" she asked softly, her voice barely above a whisper. Kaelin nodded slowly, his eyes wide with a mixture of awe and trepidation. "It's like they're trying to communicate." In that moment, a profound shift occurred between them. A shared recognition of the possibility that they were part of something far greater than themselves. The ghosts of Mars were no longer mere figments of imagination, but potential harbingers of cosmic truth. Aftermath, foreshadow. As they returned to camp under the watchful gaze of the stars, Alara felt a renewed sense of purpose, a determination to bridge the gap between science and spirituality in her quest for answers. Kaelin, too, found himself contemplating new possibilities, ideas that challenged his rigid adherence to empirical evidence, yet promised richer insights into the universe's mysteries. Together, they stood on the precipice of discovery, united by their shared journey into the unknown. And as they prepared for what lay ahead, both scientists knew that their greatest revelations were yet to come. Whispers of the cosmic seed that would illuminate paths unimagined and destinies intertwined. The chapter closed with an unresolved tension, a promise of revelations yet to unfold and decisions yet to be made. In their hearts, Alara and Kaelin carried the weight of knowledge and wonder, ready to embrace whatever truths awaited them beyond the veil of stars. Chapter 45. Whispers in the Void. Scene 1. Setup. The Martian twilight painted the landscape in hues of amethyst and gold, casting long shadows across the newly formed lakes that dotted the terrain. Dr. Alara Voss stood on a rocky outcrop, her gaze fixed on the horizon where the comet's remnants still twinkled like distant stars. The air was cool against her skin, carrying with it a whisper of something ancient and unknowable. Alara turned to Dr. Kaelin Thorne, who was meticulously adjusting a holographic scanner. "Kaelin," she began, her voice filled with a quiet resolve, "we need to understand the symbols on those ruins. They might be the key to everything, the comet, the life here, even." She hesitated, her thoughts drifting to her father. Kaelin looked up, his expression a mix of curiosity and skepticism. You really believe these symbols hold answers, don't you? He asked, his tone challenging yet not dismissive. I do. Alara replied firmly. There's a pattern to them, something more than just random etchings. I can feel it. A gust of wind swept across the plateau, rustling the alien flora around them. For a moment, Alara thought she heard faint voices carried on the breeze, their words indistinguishable but imbued with an eerie familiarity. Kalen sighed, nodding as he packed away his equipment. All right, let's take another look. But remember, sometimes a pattern is just our minds trying to make sense of chaos. Alara smiled softly, appreciating his willingness to entertain her theories despite his doubts. Perhaps, she mused, but chaos often hides order in its depths. Confrontation. And so, under the watchful eyes of Mars's enigmatic spirits, Alara and her team prepared for whatever lay ahead, guided by whispers of wonder and fueled by an unyielding quest for truth. The legacy of their journey was only beginning, a testament to the enduring power of curiosity and connection across worlds. Chapter 23, The Cosmic Seed, Scene 1, Setup. The Martian landscape stretched out like a dream, an alien tapestry woven with colors both familiar and fantastical. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a newly formed azure lake, its surface mirroring the sky with unsettling clarity. The air was crisp, carrying whispers of ancient secrets that seemed to resonate within her very bones. Her heart thudded in her chest, not from fear, but anticipation. Her mind, ever the insatiable seeker of truths, was set on deciphering the cryptic symbols etched into the towering structures that rose from the Martian soil like sentinels of a bygone era. These symbols, glowing faintly under the starlit sky, promised answers to questions she had chased for years. Yet they also posed an immediate conflict: how to bridge the gap between science and the supernatural that these symbols represented. Dr. Kalen Thorne approached, his footsteps barely audible on the soft Martian ground. Alara, he began, his voice a blend of skepticism and curiosity, these structures, they defy all geological explanations, but attributing them to supernatural forces? That's a leap even I'm not ready to take. Alara turned to him, her eyes reflecting the lake's azure hue. Kalen, we've seen things here that challenge every notion of reality we hold dear. Maybe it's time to consider that our understanding is limited. Kalen crossed his arms, a barrier against the unknown. I want to believe, Alara, but belief without evidence? It's a slippery slope. Their conversation hung in the air, a delicate balance between conviction and doubt. Alara knew that Kalen's skepticism was not just a hurdle, but a necessary counterbalance to her own openness, a dynamic that both challenged and enriched their pursuit of knowledge. Scene 2. Confrontation. The two scientists found themselves inside one of the mysterious structures, its walls alive with shifting patterns of light and shadow. The air was thick with an unspoken presence, as if the structure itself was aware of their intrusion. Look at this, Alara said softly, tracing her fingers over a series of symbols that pulsed gently under her touch. These are like nothing we've seen before. They feel alive. Kalen leaned closer, his analytical mind racing to find a logical explanation. Perhaps there's some form of bioluminescent mineral reacting to our body heat, he suggested, though his voice lacked its usual certainty. Alara shook her head, her intuition whispering truths science couldn't articulate. Or perhaps they're communicating with us in a language we have yet to understand. A sudden chill swept through the room, and both scientists felt it. A presence, subtle yet undeniable. The air shimmered, and ghostly figures began to materialize around them, their forms ethereal and translucent. Kalen stepped back instinctively, his skepticism wavering in the face of this inexplicable phenomenon. This can't be real, he murmured, yet the tremor in his voice betrayed his doubt. Alara remained still, her gaze steady on the apparitions. Real or not, they're here with us, she replied, her voice firm but gentle. The figures seemed to whisper, their voices a chorus of forgotten legends and cosmic truths. Alara and Kalen exchanged a glance, their previous debate overshadowed by the shared experience unfolding before them. Maybe, Kalen said slowly, maybe there's more to this universe than we've allowed ourselves to imagine. Alara smiled softly, feeling the first stirrings of hope that their journey might lead to answers far beyond their wildest dreams. 3. Resolution or twist. As the ghostly figures faded back into the shadows, leaving only echoes of their presence behind, Elara and Kaelin stood in silence. The experience had shifted something fundamental within them, a realization that they were part of something far greater than themselves. "Elara," Kaelin said finally, breaking the silence, I think I'm starting to see what you've been talking about all along." Elara nodded, her heart swelling with gratitude for this newfound understanding between them. "It's not about abandoning science," she said. "It's about expanding our perspective to include possibilities we can't yet explain." Kaelin met her gaze, his own eyes reflecting a newfound openness. "Then let's find those explanations together." Their alliance renewed, they stepped out of the structure into the Martian night, where auroras danced across the sky like cosmic brushstrokes, painting a vision of unity and wonder. Scene 4. Aftermath Foreshadow. As they returned to their base camp, Elara couldn't shake the feeling that their journey had only just begun. The structures held more secrets than they could fathom, and the ghostly entities hinted at truths waiting to be uncovered. She glanced at Kaelin, whose expression mirrored her own mix of awe and determination. Together, they would unravel the mysteries of Mars and perhaps touch upon the very essence of existence itself. In the distance, another structure loomed, a silhouette against the starry sky, beckoning them forward with promises of discovery and whispers of a cosmic seed that might just hold the key to everything. The night was young, and so were their dreams of unlocking the universe's most profound secrets. Chapter 24. Whispers of the Cosmic Seed. Setup. The Martian twilight was a canvas painted in hues of crimson and indigo, reflecting the delicate dance between day and night. Dr. Elara Voss stood at the precipice of a newly formed cliff, her eyes tracing the horizon where the azure lakes shimmered beneath the fading sun. The air was thin, yet it carried a palpable energy, an undercurrent of anticipation that mirrored her own inner turmoil. Elara's gaze fell upon the enigmatic structures that loomed in the distance, their surfaces etched with cryptic symbols glowing faintly in the dim light. These ruins held secrets, whispers of an ancient cosmic force that beckoned her to unravel their mysteries. Her heart quickened at the thought of what lay ahead. "Elara," came a voice, steady and familiar. Dr. Kaelin Thorne approached, his expression a blend of curiosity and skepticism. "I've been analyzing the data from our last encounter with the entities. There's an anomaly in the readings, a pattern that defies explanation." Elara nodded, her mind already racing with possibilities. "A pattern could mean intent," she mused, her voice barely above a whisper. "These entities might be trying to communicate with us." Kaelin crossed his arms, his brow furrowed in thought. "Or it could be a natural phenomenon we have yet to understand," he countered, his tone measured but intrigued. Elara turned to face him, her eyes alight with determination. "Either way, we need to find out. The answers could redefine everything we know about life and its origins." Their shared goal was clear, to decipher the messages embedded within the Martian landscape and its ghostly inhabitants. Yet beneath this united front lay an undercurrent of tension, a clash of beliefs that would soon come to a head. Scene 2. As night enveloped Mars in its embrace, Elara and Kaelin gathered with their team around a holographic display in their makeshift base. The air crackled with excitement as they pored over the data, each member contributing insights from their respective fields. "The spectral analysis shows a distinct energy signature," Kaelin explained, pointing to a series of fluctuating lines on the display. "It's unlike anything we've encountered before, almost as if it's alive." Elara leaned in closer, her fingers tracing the patterns with reverence. "It resonates with the symbols on the ruins," she said, her voice imbued with awe. "There's a connection here, a dialogue between worlds." Kaelin's skepticism wavered, replaced by a flicker of wonder. "But how do we interpret it? How do we distinguish between science and myth?" Their eyes met across the table, a silent challenge passing between them. The room seemed to hold its breath as they wrestled with the implications of their findings. "We must approach this with open minds," Elara urged, her tone gentle yet firm. "To dismiss these phenomena as mere illusions would be to ignore the possibility of something greater." Kaelin hesitated, his scientific instincts battling against an emerging sense of wonder. "I want to believe," he admitted quietly, "but I need evidence, something tangible to bridge the gap between skepticism and faith. Their conversation hung in the air like the auroras dancing above Mars, a delicate balance of logic and intuition, each challenging the other to see beyond their own boundaries. Scene 3, Resolution or Twist. The following day brought with it an unexpected turn of events. As Alara and Kaelin ventured deeper into the Martian terrain, they stumbled upon a hidden chamber within one of the ancient structures. Its walls were adorned with intricate carvings that seemed to pulse with life. Alara's breath caught in her throat as she traced her fingers along the symbols, feeling an inexplicable connection to their meaning. It was as if the universe itself whispered secrets only she could hear. Suddenly, a figure materialized before them, a ghostly apparition shimmering like stardust. Its presence was both ethereal and commanding, exuding an aura of wisdom that transcended time. "Who are you?" Alara asked softly, her voice trembling with reverence. The entity's response was not verbal, but rather a cascade of images and emotions that flooded Alara's mind, a tapestry of cosmic history woven into the fabric of existence. Kaelin watched in awe as Alara's eyes widened in understanding. The entity's message was clear. Humanity was part of an intricate web of life seeded across galaxies by an ancient intelligence. In that moment, Kaelin's skepticism crumbled, replaced by a profound sense of acceptance. He realized that some truths transcended empirical evidence, that belief itself could be a powerful force for discovery. As the apparition faded into nothingness, Alara turned to Kaelin, her expression one of quiet triumph. "We are not alone," she whispered, her voice echoing with newfound conviction. Optional Scene 4, Aftermath Foreshadow. Back at their base, Alara and Kaelin shared their encounter with the team, igniting a sense of purpose among them all. The boundaries between science and spirituality had blurred, leaving room for infinite possibilities. As they prepared for their next expedition, Alara felt a renewed sense of hope, a belief that their journey would lead to revelations beyond imagination. Yet, as she gazed at the Martian sky, she couldn't shake the feeling that their discoveries were only the beginning, that more secrets lay hidden among the stars, waiting to be unveiled. The whispers of the cosmic seed lingered in her mind, a reminder that some mysteries were meant to be explored not just with intellect, but with heart and soul. And so, armed with curiosity and courage, Alara and her team ventured forth into the unknown, guided by the echoes of an ancient song that promised enlightenment and connection beyond measure. Chapter 25, Whispers of the Cosmic Seed. The Martian dawn broke in a cascade of colors, painting the sky with hues of amber and violet. Dr. Alara Voss stood atop a craggy outcrop, her gaze fixed on the horizon where the comet 3I Atlas had once blazed across the heavens. Beneath her feet, the ground hummed with a subtle vibrancy, as if the planet itself were whispering secrets just beyond her grasp. Alara's mind was a tempest of thoughts, each one vying for attention. The events of the past days had been nothing short of miraculous. Mars reborn in a kaleidoscope of life, spectral figures that seemed to beckon from the shadows, and cryptic symbols etched into ancient ruins. Yet, amidst the wonder, a singular goal remained clear: to unravel the mysteries that lay beneath Mars' transformed surface. Her musings were interrupted by the soft crunch of footsteps on the gravel behind her. Dr. Kaelin Thorne approached, his expression a mix of curiosity and skepticism that had become all too familiar. "Alara," he began, his voice laced with an undercurrent of tension, "we need to talk about what we've seen." Alara turned to face him, her eyes reflecting both determination and a hint of vulnerability. "I know what you're going to say, Kaelin, but you can't deny there's something extraordinary happening here." Kaelin crossed his arms, his brow furrowed in thought. "Extraordinary, yes, but we need to be careful. We can't let ourselves be swept away by phenomena we don't yet understand." The air between them crackled with unspoken conflict, a dance of logic and intuition that had defined their partnership since they first set foot on Martian soil. Scene 2. As they descended from the outcrop, their conversation deepened, each word carefully chosen as if navigating a minefield of possibilities. "You've seen them too," Alara pressed gently, referring to the ethereal entities that had appeared in the night, their forms shifting like smoke in the wind. Kaelin hesitated, his scientific rigor wrestling with the memories that lingered at the edges of his consciousness. Yes, he admitted reluctantly. But what are they? Projections? Hallucinations induced by some unknown chemical reaction? Ilara shook her head, her voice a quiet insistence against the Martian breeze. Or perhaps there's something more, echoes of an intelligence we can't comprehend yet. Their path led them through fields of bioluminescent flora, each step releasing a soft glow beneath their boots. The landscape around them seemed to pulse with an energy that defied explanation. Ilara, Kaelin said, stopping abruptly. We have to consider every possibility, including the idea that this could all be artificial. Alara's heart skipped a beat at the suggestion, a notion both terrifying and exhilarating in its implications. You mean engineered? By who? Or what? Kaelin met her gaze, his eyes searching hers for understanding. That's what we need to find out. Their dialogue was a symphony of speculation and doubt, each argument sharpening their resolve to uncover the truth together. Scene 3. Resolution or twist. As they reached the edge of a shimmering azure lake, an unexpected sight halted them in their tracks. Rising from the water's surface was a structure unlike any they had encountered before, a delicate spire of crystalline formations that caught the light in an otherworldly dance. The spire hummed with a resonance that seemed to speak directly to Alara's soul, filling her with an inexplicable sense of connection and purpose. It was as if the universe itself had chosen this moment to reveal another piece of its grand design. "Do you feel it?" Alara whispered, her voice barely audible above the gentle lapping of water against the shore. Kaelin nodded, his skepticism momentarily overshadowed by awe. "It's beautiful." In that shared moment of wonder, their relationship shifted subtly, an unspoken acknowledgement that science and mystery could coexist harmoniously. "We need to study this," Kaelin said finally, his voice tinged with newfound excitement. Alara smiled, a rare warmth breaking through her usual guarded demeanor. "To optional scene 4, Aftermath." As they made their way back to camp under the Martian twilight, Alara felt a sense of peace settle over her, a harmony between past and present, science and spirit. Yet within her heart lay an unresolved tension, a whisper of something greater yet to come. "We've only scratched the surface," Alara said softly, her gaze fixed on the horizon where auroras danced like cosmic specters. Kaelin nodded in agreement, his skepticism tempered by curiosity. "There's still so much we don't know." Their words hung in the air like a promise, a commitment to continue exploring not just Mars but the very fabric of reality itself. As night enveloped them, Alara felt a gentle presence beside her, a ghostly figure that seemed to nod approvingly before fading into the shadows. It was a reminder that their journey was far from over, that whispers of the cosmic seed still echoed across the stars, waiting to be heard. In that moment, Alara knew that whatever lay ahead would be both a challenge and an opportunity, a chance to redefine humanity's place in the universe and embrace the unknown with courage and hope. Chapter 44. Whispers Beyond the Veil. The Martian twilight cast an ethereal glow over the landscape, painting the crimson cliffs in hues of violet and gold. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a newly formed azure lake, her mind a whirlpool of thoughts as she contemplated the day's discoveries. The air was filled with a crispness that seemed to invigorate her senses, urging her to delve deeper into the mysteries that surrounded them. Her immediate goal was clear: decipher the cryptic symbols etched into the ancient structures that dotted the Martian soil. These symbols, faintly glowing under the starlight, held secrets that could redefine humanity's understanding of life itself. But as Alara studied them, a sense of unease settled over her, a whispering doubt that questioned whether she was truly ready to uncover what lay hidden. Dr. Kaelin Thorne approached from behind, his footsteps barely audible on the soft Martian earth. "Alara," he called gently, his voice carrying a blend of skepticism and curiosity. "Have you found anything new?" Alara turned to face him, her eyes reflecting both determination and vulnerability. "These symbols, they're not just random markings. There's a pattern here, Kaelin. A message, perhaps." Kaelin folded his arms, his expression thoughtful yet cautious. "Or it could be a natural formation we've yet to understand scientifically," he countered, though his tone lacked its usual conviction. A silent tension brewed between them, a conflict seeded by their differing beliefs about the phenomena they encountered. Yet beneath this tension lay a shared purpose, to unravel the cosmic riddles that Mars presented. Scene 2. Confrontation. The two scientists made their way to the base camp, where holographic displays flickered with data collected throughout the day. The air inside the camp was charged with an anticipation that mirrored Alara's own internal state. As they reviewed their findings, the dialogue between them grew increasingly animated. "You can't deny there's something extraordinary happening here," Alara insisted, gesturing towards the hologram depicting the comet's unique elements. Kalen leaned forward, his brow furrowed in concentration. "I'm not denying it, Alara, but extraordinary doesn't mean supernatural. We need empirical evidence before jumping to conclusions." Frustration tinged Alara's voice as she replied, "And what if some things are beyond empirical evidence? What if these entities we're encountering are manifestations of something greater, something that transcends our current understanding?" Kalen paused, his skepticism momentarily wavering as he recalled his own encounters with the ghostly figures that defied explanation. "I don't know," he admitted quietly, a rare concession in their ongoing debate. Kalen hesitated, caught between disbelief and intrigue. "Guiding us or leading us astray?" Alara turned to him, her expression resolute. "Only one way to find out." Together they followed the trail, each step toward the structure a silent testament to their shared resolve despite differing beliefs. Scene 3. Resolution or twist. As they reached the ancient structure, the symbols carved into its surface seemed to pulse with an inner light, responding to their presence. Alara traced her fingers over them, feeling an inexplicable connection, a bridge between her world and another. "We need to document these," Kalen suggested, pulling out his holographic recorder. His skepticism had given way to a cautious curiosity. Alara nodded but paused as she noticed something new, a symbol she hadn't seen before glowing brighter than the rest. It resembled a cosmic seed, spiraling outward in intricate patterns. This is different," she murmured. Kalen leaned in closer, adjusting his device to capture every detail. "What do you think it means?" Alara's mind raced with possibilities, each one more profound than the last. "I think it's a message," she said finally, "one that's been waiting for us to find it." Their eyes met, and in that moment, an unspoken understanding passed between them, an acknowledgement of their shared journey and the mysteries yet to unravel. Scene 4. Aftermath. As they stepped back from the structure, the sky above Mars shifted subtly, auroras weaving new patterns across the twilight canvas. It was as if the planet itself responded to their discovery, echoing their anticipation with celestial whispers. "We're not alone in this," Alara said quietly, more to herself than Kalen. He watched her with newfound respect, his skepticism tempered by experience. "No," he agreed softly, "we're part of something much larger." The path ahead was uncertain, but it shimmered with promise, a promise that whispered of revelations and connections beyond their wildest imaginings. As they turned back toward their base, Alara felt a sense of hope take root within her, a hope that would guide them through whatever lay ahead. For in the vastness of space and the depths of their own hearts, they were discovering not just answers but themselves. Each step a whisper of possibility, each discovery a seed planted in cosmic soil, and so they walked on, hand in hand with destiny, ready to embrace whatever mysteries awaited them among the stars. Chapter 27. Whispers of the Cosmic Seed. Dr. Alara Voss stood on the precipice of a Martian cliff, the alien landscape sprawling out beneath her like a tapestry woven from dreams and stardust. The crimson hues of the cliffs glowed under the soft light of Mars's twin moons, casting long shadows that danced across the bioluminescent flora below. Her gaze was fixed on the horizon, where the azure lakes shimmered, reflecting the auroras that painted the sky in vibrant ribbons. Beside her, Dr. Kalen Thorne adjusted his visor, the digital overlay feeding him data that seemed almost mundane against the surreal backdrop. "Alara," he began, his voice a blend of awe and skepticism. "We're standing on a planet that was barren just months ago. Now it's teeming with life. Yet I'm still struggling to accept these apparitions." Alara turned to him, her eyes reflecting the same auroral glow. "Kalen, what if these entities are more than just figments of our imagination? What if they're echoes of something ancient, something that defies our understanding?" Kalen shook his head slightly, a hint of a smile playing at his lips. You know I need evidence, Alara. Something tangible. This isn't about belief, it's about understanding. Alara nodded, her resolve unwavering. Then, let's find it. We've come this far, Kaylin. It's time to uncover what Mars is trying to tell us. Confrontation. The two scientists made their way back to their makeshift research station, a hub of futuristic technology nestled amid the Martian rocks. Inside, holographic displays projected images of spectral figures captured by their instruments, shapes that seemed to flicker between worlds. As they reviewed the data, Alara's mind drifted back to the whispers she had heard during their last encounter with the ethereal beings. What if these whispers are a form of communication? She mused aloud. Kaylin paused, his fingers hovering over the console. Communication? From whom or what? Alara met his gaze, her expression earnest. Perhaps from an intelligence that's been here long before us, an intelligence that's seeded life across planets. Kaylin leaned back, crossing his arms. You're suggesting these entities are remnants of an ancient civilization? Spirits of a lost world? Or guides, Alara countered softly. Guides leading us to understand our place in the cosmos. Kaylin's skepticism was palpable, but there was an undeniable curiosity in his eyes. If that's true, then why now? Why reveal themselves after so many eons? Alara's voice held a quiet conviction. Because we're ready to listen. Scene 3, resolution or twist. Their debate was interrupted by a sudden flicker in the holographic display, a new image forming amidst the spectral figures. It was a symbol, one Alara recognized from her father's journals. An intricate pattern resembling a cosmic seed, its tendrils stretching out like roots into infinity. Her heart skipped a beat as she traced the symbol with her finger in the air. This was my father's obsession, she whispered, emotions swirling within her. Kaylin leaned closer, intrigued by the shift in her demeanor. What does it mean? Alara's voice trembled with a mix of excitement and uncertainty. It means we're not just uncovering Mars's secrets. We're unraveling my father's mystery, too. The realization struck them both. Their mission on Mars was intertwined with personal and cosmic revelations, each layer of discovery peeling back to reveal another. Optional Scene 4, Aftermath. As night descended fully upon Mars, Alara and Kaylin stepped outside once more, drawn by an inexplicable pull towards the ancient ruins nearby. The structures stood silent and imposing against the starry expanse, their surfaces etched with symbols similar to the one they had just seen. In that moment of quiet reflection, Alara felt a presence beside her, an invisible hand guiding her toward something greater than herself. The air hummed with potential, whispering promises of knowledge and connection. Kaylin, she said softly, I think we're standing on the threshold of something extraordinary. He nodded, finally allowing himself to embrace the possibility that perhaps not everything could be explained by science alone. Together they stepped forward into the unknown, ready to listen to the whispers of the cosmic seed and uncover truths that would reshape their understanding of life and its origins forever. End of Chapter 28, Whispers of the Unseen. Scene 1. The Martian dawn unfurled like a tapestry woven with threads of gold and crimson, painting the landscape in hues that seemed to pulse with life. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a newly formed azure lake, its surface mirroring the ethereal dance of auroras overhead. She inhaled deeply, the thin air filling her lungs with a sensation both foreign and invigorating. Beside her, Dr. Kaylin Thorne adjusted his visor, his gaze fixed on the ruins that loomed in the distance. Alara, he began, his voice a measured blend of curiosity and caution. We need to establish our next steps. The symbols we found yesterday, they can't just be random. Alara nodded, her mind already racing with possibilities. I agree, but there's more to them than meets the eye. I feel it, Kaylin, like they're whispering to us, urging us to listen. As they delved deeper into the ruins, following the ethereal melody that guided them like a beacon, Alara felt a profound connection to this place, to its history and mysteries intertwined with her own. They reached a chamber where light filtered through crystalline formations in vibrant hues. At its center stood an altar adorned with artifacts that defied categorization, objects imbued with an energy that thrummed beneath their touch. Alara approached cautiously, sensing that this was no ordinary discovery but a culmination of her quest, a convergence point where past and present met in cosmic harmony. She turned to Kaylin, her voice steady yet filled with wonder. "This is what we've been searching for," she declared softly. "Proof that we're part of something greater, something beyond our understanding." Kaylin's gaze softened as he regarded the scene before him, a skeptic humbled by mysteries he could no longer dismiss outright. In that moment, his worldview began to shift, not abandoning science, but expanding it to embrace possibilities once deemed impossible. "Perhaps," he conceded quietly, "there are forces at play here we can't yet comprehend." Their exchange marked a turning point, not just in their mission but in their relationship as colleagues and friends, united by discovery and acceptance. Together they stood at the threshold of new beginnings, ready to unravel truths hidden among stars while forging bonds strengthened by shared purpose. Scene 4. As night fell over Mars once more, its sky ablaze with celestial wonders, Alara and Kaylin lingered near their campfire reflecting on all they had witnessed. "We've only scratched surface," Alara mused thoughtfully, gazing up at starlit expanse above them. Kaylin nodded agreement, sensing anticipation stirring within him, a newfound openness towards unknown paths ahead. "And who knows what else awaits us?" Their words carried forward into night, carried by cosmic winds, whispering promises yet fulfilled, a reminder that journey continued unfolding amidst infinite possibilities spanning universe itself. In silence broken only by crackling firelight, flickering shadows danced across Martian sands, an eternal testament to courage, curiosity, resilience defining human spirit reaching ever outward towards stars. Chapter 30, Whispers of the Cosmic. Scene 1, Setup, Establish goal plus immediate conflict seed. The Martian dawn broke with an ethereal glow, casting long shadows across the nascent landscape. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the threshold of a newly uncovered ruin, her breath misting in the crisp air. Her mind buzzed with anticipation as she prepared to lead her team into the heart of this ancient enigma. The goal was clear: decode the cryptic symbols and uncover the mysteries buried within. "Alara," Dr. Kaylin Thorne called, his voice cutting through the silence. He approached, his expression a blend of curiosity and skepticism. "Ready for another day of chasing ghosts?" Alara smiled, her eyes reflecting the auroras that danced above. "Ghosts or not, Kaylin, there's something here. I can feel it." Kaylin adjusted his equipment, shaking his head with a playful smirk. "Let's just hope this feeling leads us somewhere tangible." Their banter was interrupted by a faint whisper, a sound that seemed to emanate from the ruins themselves, a haunting melody that stirred the air around them. Alara's heart quickened. It was as if the very stones were alive, eager to share their secrets. "Did you hear that?" Alara asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Kaylin paused, listening intently. "Perhaps it's the wind," he suggested, though his eyes betrayed a flicker of doubt. Alara nodded, though she knew it was more than mere wind. This was the seed of their immediate conflict, the tension between belief and skepticism, between what could be explained and what lay beyond comprehension. Scene 2, Confrontation. Dialogue-driven tension. Inside the ruin, the atmosphere was charged with an otherworldly energy. The walls were adorned with luminescent glyphs that pulsed gently in the dim light. Alara and Kaylin moved carefully, their footsteps echoing softly. "These symbols," Kaylin said, examining them closely, "they resonate on frequencies I've never encountered before." Alara traced her fingers over the glyphs, feeling their subtle vibration. "It's almost like they're speaking to us," she mused. "Or trying to communicate something," Kaylin replied, his scientific mind grappling with the inexplicable. Their conversation was interrupted by another whisper, this time clearer and more insistent. It seemed to carry a message, though neither could discern its meaning. "Do you think it's possible," Alara began cautiously, "that these entities, whatever they are trying to guide us?" Kaylin hesitated, his rational mind warring with the surreal experience. "I don't know, Alara, but if they are, why? What's their purpose?" "Maybe they want us to understand something fundamental about life, about existence," Alara suggested, her voice filled with wonder. Kaylin sighed, running a hand through his hair. "It's hard to accept without evidence." "But sometimes," Alara countered gently, "faith is part of discovery." Their eyes met, and in that shared gaze was an unspoken acknowledgement of their differing perspectives, a tension that both challenged and enriched their partnership. Scene 3, Resolution or twist, relationship shift, new complication, leverage change. As they delved deeper into the ruin, the whispers grew louder, more coherent. They seemed to form words, fragments of an ancient language that resonated within Alara's mind like a forgotten lullaby. Suddenly, a vision unfolded before them, a spectral tableau of figures moving gracefully through a world long lost to time. It was as if they were witnessing echoes of a civilization that had once thrived on Mars. "Do you see this?" Alara asked, her voice tinged with awe. Kalen nodded slowly, his skepticism momentarily eclipsed by wonder. "Yes, I see it." In that moment, their relationship shifted subtly. A newfound respect for each other's beliefs blossomed amidst the ruins. They stood united in their quest for understanding, their differences now a source of strength rather than division. Yet, as the vision faded, a new complication emerged. A symbol unlike any other appeared on the wall, glowing fiercely. It was a key of sorts, hinting at deeper secrets hidden within the Martian soil. "We have to find out what it means," Alara said determinedly. Kalen agreed, though uncertainty lingered in his eyes. "But where do we start?" Optional Scene 4, Aftermath. Foreshadow. As they left the ruin, the whispers followed them like a gentle breeze, a reminder of the mysteries yet to be unraveled. The path ahead was fraught with challenges and revelations that would test their resolve and redefine their understanding of reality itself. Alara paused at the entrance, gazing back at the enigmatic structure. "Whatever lies ahead," she murmured to herself, "we'll face it together." With renewed purpose, they set off towards their next destination, a place where answers awaited and where the cosmic seed's whispers promised to illuminate truths both ancient and profound. The chapter closed with an unresolved tension, a promise of discovery that beckoned from beyond the stars. Chapter 31, Whispers Beyond the Veil. The Martian dawn unfurled like a watercolor painting, hues of salmon and gold bleeding into the horizon, illuminating the bioluminescent flora that had sprung from the comet's seed. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a newly formed azure lake, its surface a mirror reflecting the sky's awakening. Her breath mingled with the crisp air, a tangible reminder of Mars' transformation, a miracle she could scarcely believe. Alara's communicator buzzed softly, pulling her from reverie. "Alara," came Dr. Kalen Thorne's voice, punctuated by static. "We need to discuss the readings from the latest scans." "I'm on my way," Alara replied, her tone a blend of anticipation and apprehension. The data they had collected hinted at anomalies, echoes of something ancient and profound. Yet it was the spectral figures that haunted her thoughts, their whispers an enigma she longed to unravel. As Alara traversed the Martian terrain towards their base, her mind raced with questions. What were these entities? Were they remnants of a civilization lost to time, or projections of her own yearning for answers? The goal was clear: to decipher these mysteries before Earth's power brokers could exploit them for gain. Scene 2, Confrontation. Inside the base, holographic displays flickered with streams of data, casting an ethereal glow over the room. Kalen stood amidst the projections, his expression a canvas of skepticism and intrigue. "Alara," he began as she entered, "these fluctuations in quantum fields are unlike anything we've seen. They coincide with your encounters." Alara nodded, her gaze steady. "And you think they're just anomalies?" Kalen hesitated, a rare moment of uncertainty. "I don't know what to think anymore. The laws of physics seem to bend here, but attributing it to ghosts or spirits is not scientific," Alara finished for him, a smile tugging at her lips despite the tension. "Yet we can't ignore what we've both experienced." Their eyes met, a silent acknowledgement of shared wonder and doubt. The dialogue between them became a dance of logic and belief, each step revealing layers of understanding and resistance. "These symbols," Alara gestured to the holograms depicting cryptic markings etched into Martian ruins, "they resonate with ancient Earth myths. We can't dismiss cultural memory as coincidence." Kalen sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I'm not dismissing it. I'm just wary. If these entities are real, if they're trying to communicate, what does it mean for us?" "It means," Alara replied softly, "that we're part of something greater than ourselves. And perhaps," she added, her voice tinged with hope, "it means I'm closer to finding out what happened to my father." Scene 3, Resolution or Twist. Later that night, under a canopy of stars that whispered secrets only the brave dared to hear, Alara found herself drawn to the ruins. The air was thick with an expectant silence, as if the very planet held its breath. She traced her fingers over the glowing symbols, feeling an electric pulse beneath her skin, a connection she couldn't explain but felt deeply in her bones. Suddenly, a presence enveloped her, gentle and familiar. "Alara!" came a voice that resonated within rather than without. It was neither male nor female, but carried an echo of love and longing. "Who are you?" she asked aloud, heart pounding. "We are echoes," the voice replied, "guardians of knowledge seated across worlds." "Did you know my father?" Her question was urgent, filled with years of unanswered longing. There was a pause, then a warmth suffused her being. "He walks with us now, seeking what you seek." Tears blurred Alara's vision as understanding dawned. Her father's disappearance was no tragedy, but a transformation. He had become part of this cosmic tapestry. A new resolve blossomed within her. This journey was no longer just about scientific discovery, but personal healing and connection. Scene 4. Aftermath. Returning to the base, Alara found Kaelin waiting outside, gazing up at the stars with newfound reverence. "Did you find what you were looking for?" he asked quietly as she approached. "In part," Alara replied, her voice steady with determination. "But there's more to uncover." Kaelin nodded, an unspoken agreement hanging in the air between them, a pact to explore these mysteries together, bridging science and spirit. As they stood side by side under the Martian sky, the ground beneath them seemed to hum with potential. The path ahead was uncertain, fraught with challenges and revelations yet unseen. But for now, they embraced the unknown with courage and hope. In the distance, auroras danced across the horizon, an ethereal promise of wonders yet to come. The chapter closed on this forward-driving beat. A decision had been made not just to understand Mars, but to embrace its mysteries fully. Together, Alara and Kaelin would navigate this new frontier where science met the supernatural, a journey that promised to illuminate not only the cosmos, but their very souls. Chapter 32. Whispers of the Cosmic Seed. Scene 1. Setup. The Martian dawn painted the landscape with hues of gold and crimson, a surreal canvas that seemed to stretch into infinity. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of the azure lake, her reflection rippling gently on its surface. The air was crisp, carrying whispers that seemed to dance in the breeze, a symphony of secrets waiting to be unraveled. Alara's thoughts were a kaleidoscope of wonder and trepidation. She had come to Mars seeking answers, but each discovery only deepened the enigma. Her father's absence weighed heavily on her heart, a shadow that lingered despite the planet's newfound vibrancy. Beside her, Dr. Kaelin Thorne adjusted his visor, scanning the horizon with a scientist's scrutiny. "Alara," he began, breaking the morning silence, "I've been analyzing those symbols we found near the ruins. They're unlike anything I've seen, almost as if they defy any logical pattern." Alara turned to him, her eyes reflecting a mix of curiosity and challenge. "Perhaps they're not meant to be understood through logic alone, Kaelin. What if these symbols are a language of emotion or intuition?" Kaelin frowned, skepticism etched across his features. "Emotion isn't quantifiable, Alara. We need evidence, something concrete." "Evidence can be more than data," she replied softly, her gaze drifting back to the lake. "Sometimes it's about what we feel in our bones." Their conversation hovered in the air, a delicate balance of tension and mutual respect. As they stood side by side, the ghostly figures they had encountered seemed to shimmer just beyond their periphery, a reminder that Mars held mysteries beyond comprehension. Scene 2. Confrontation. Later that day, within the confines of their makeshift lab beneath the Martian cliffs, Alara and Kaelin continued their exploration. Holographic displays flickered with images of the comet's impact and the resulting transformation of Mars's surface. "Look at this," Kaelin gestured to a screen displaying fractal patterns emerging from the comet's debris. "These structures, they suggest an intelligent design, but I can't determine their purpose." Alara leaned closer, her fingers tracing the intricate designs suspended in midair. "What if these patterns are a message? A blueprint left by an ancient intelligence?" Kaelin shook his head, though his voice held less certainty than before. "A message from whom, and why choose Mars?" "Maybe it's not just Mars," Alara mused, her voice barely above a whisper. "What if it's a message for us, for humanity, an invitation to understand our place in the universe?" Kaelin's eyes met hers, filled with both skepticism and a flicker of intrigue. "You're suggesting something beyond science, Alara?" "Yes," she said simply, her conviction unwavering. "Science is part of it, but so is belief in something greater." Their dialogue wove a tapestry of ideas and emotions, a reflection of their shared journey amidst the cosmic unknown. Yet beneath their words lay an unspoken truth. Both were drawn to the whispers that seemed to echo from Mars itself. Scene 3. Resolution or Twist. As night enveloped Mars in its starry embrace, Alara found herself wandering alone among the bioluminescent flora. Their gentle glow illuminated her path, casting ethereal shadows that danced like spirits in the twilight. She paused near an ancient structure half buried in Martian soil, its surface etched with those cryptic symbols. Kneeling beside it, Alara traced them with reverent fingers. Suddenly, a chill swept through her, a presence both familiar and foreign. "Alara," a voice murmured from the depths of her memory, echoing with warmth and wisdom. Her heart skipped a beat as she recognized it, the voice of her father, lost yet lingering in this alien world. Tears welled in her eyes as she felt his presence enveloping her like an embrace. "You're closer than you think," he whispered, his words resonating within her soul. "The answers lie within you, as they always have." Alara closed her eyes, letting his presence wash over her like a cosmic tide. In that moment, she understood that her journey was not just about unraveling the mysteries of Mars, but also about discovering herself, her strength, her resilience, and her capacity to believe in the impossible. Scene 4. Aftermath. As dawn broke once more over Mars's transformed landscape, Alara returned to the lab with renewed determination. She found Kaelin poring over data, his expression one of focused intensity. "Kaelin," she called softly, drawing his attention away from the screens. He looked up, meeting her gaze with an openness she hadn't seen before. "Alara, I've been thinking. Perhaps there's merit in exploring these phenomena beyond conventional means." Her smile was gentle yet triumphant, a reflection of their shared evolution. "Then let's do it together," she replied, extending a hand. As Kaelin accepted her offer, their partnership solidified, a fusion of science and spirit poised to unlock the secrets of the universe. In that moment of unity and understanding, Alara knew they were on the cusp of something extraordinary. The whispers of the cosmic seed beckoned them forward into uncharted realms where science met magic and reality intertwined with myth, a journey that promised revelations far beyond their wildest dreams. Chapter 33. Whispers of the Cosmic Seed. Scene 1. Setup. The Martian dawn broke with a quiet majesty, casting long shadows over the alien landscape that shimmered with hues of crimson and emerald. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a newly formed lake, its surface mirroring the ethereal dance of the auroras above. Her heart swelled with a mixture of awe and anticipation, for today held the promise of unraveling one of Mars' deepest mysteries. "Are you ready, Alara?" Dr. Kaelin Thorne's voice cut through the stillness, carrying a tone both challenging and supportive. He approached, his eyes scanning the horizon as if searching for answers hidden within the Martian wilderness. Alara nodded, her gaze fixed on the distant ruins that rose like sentinels from the soil. "More than ever, Kaelin, this could be the key to understanding everything, the comet, the transformation, even the whispers." Kaelin folded his arms, a skeptical smile playing on his lips. "And yet we're still chasing echoes in the wind. What do you truly expect to find?" Alara turned to him, her expression earnest. "Connection. Answers that bridge the gap between myth and reality. Maybe even something about my father." The mention of her father hung in the air like an unspoken pact, a reminder of the personal stakes entwined with their scientific pursuit. The goal was clear. Venture into the heart of the ruins and uncover whatever secrets lay hidden within. 2. Confrontation. They trekked across the Martian terrain, the silence punctuated by their footsteps crunching against the sandy ground. As they neared the ancient structures, Alara felt a familiar tingle, a sensation as if unseen eyes watched their every move. Inside the ruins, cryptic symbols adorned the walls, glowing faintly in response to their presence. It was a language neither earthly nor entirely alien, whispering secrets only those willing to listen could hear. Kaelin paused, running his fingers over the symbols. "It's like they're alive," he mused aloud, his skepticism tempered by a hint of wonder. "Perhaps they are," Alara replied softly. Or maybe they reflect something alive within us. Their conversation was interrupted by a low hum that resonated through the chamber, a sound both mechanical and organic. The air shimmered, and before them appeared a ghostly figure, translucent and shifting like mist caught in moonlight. Alara's breath caught as she recognized it, a visage reminiscent of her father, yet different, imbued with an otherworldly presence. "Father?" she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. Kalen stepped forward, his analytical mind struggling to comprehend. It could be a projection, an echo from another time. But Alara shook her head, feeling an inexplicable connection. "No, Kalen, it's more than that." The figure raised an arm, motioning them forward. In its gesture lay both invitation and challenge, a test of their willingness to embrace what lay beyond scientific understanding. Scene 3. Resolution or twist. As they followed the apparition deeper into the ruins, a profound sense of calm settled over Alara. The path led to a chamber bathed in soft luminescence where a mosaic depicted celestial bodies intertwined with human forms, a cosmic dance of creation and destiny. Kalen studied it intently, his skepticism giving way to curiosity. This suggests an ancient knowledge, a deliberate design behind life itself. Alara nodded, her heart swelling with hope and resolve. It's not just about science or myth, it's about our place in this universe. We're part of something greater. In that moment, Alara felt a shift, a reconciliation between her yearning for discovery and her father's mysterious disappearance. The apparition faded, leaving behind a sense of peace and understanding. Kalen placed a hand on her shoulder, his expression softened by newfound acceptance. "Perhaps we should listen more to these whispers," he conceded. "They might hold truths we've yet to imagine." Their relationship had transformed, trust deepened by shared revelation and mutual respect for each other's perspective. Optional Scene 4. Aftermath Foreshadow. As they emerged from the ruins, the Martian sky painted with vibrant auroras seemed to echo their inner transformation. Alara felt lighter, as if the burdens of uncertainty had been lifted by cosmic hands. "What's next?" Kalen asked, his tone infused with genuine curiosity. Alara smiled, her gaze fixed on the horizon where Earth lay hidden among stars. "We continue our journey, seeking answers and embracing the unknown. There's so much more to discover." Their path ahead was uncertain, but filled with possibility, a testament to their resilience and willingness to forge connections between worlds seen and unseen. With renewed purpose, they began their trek back to base camp, leaving behind footprints that whispered promises of new beginnings and cosmic revelations yet to come. As Chapter 33 concluded, Dr. Alara Voss and Dr. Kalen Thorne found themselves not just explorers of Mars, but pioneers on a quest that transcended boundaries, uniting science and spirit in an inspirational journey that beckoned them ever onward into the mysteries of the universe. Setup. The Martian dawn painted the horizon with a surreal palette, the red sands shimmering under the first light. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a newly formed azure lake, her breath mingling with the crisp air. The transformation of Mars was nothing short of miraculous, yet it was the whispers she heard, faint echoes riding on the morning breeze, that both fascinated and unsettled her. "Alara," came a voice from behind. Dr. Kalen Thorne approached, his expression a blend of curiosity and skepticism. "I thought I'd find you here." Alara turned, her eyes reflecting the vibrant hues of Mars. "I needed to see it again," she said, gesturing to the landscape that defied all scientific logic. "It feels alive." Kalen nodded, though his brow furrowed slightly. "And yet, our instruments still can't fully explain it. I ran another analysis on those spectral signatures you mentioned. They seem to fluctuate with no discernible pattern." "Almost like they're responding to us," Alara mused, her gaze distant as if she could perceive the unseen forces at play. Kalen chuckled softly, though his tone was tinged with respect. "Or perhaps it's your imagination weaving its own tapestry." Alara smiled, appreciating his candor. "Imagination or not, there's something here, Kalen, something we can't quantify yet." He crossed his arms, considering her words. "And what do we do when science meets the supernatural?" "We listen," Alara replied simply, her voice carrying the weight of her conviction and hope. Scene 2. Confrontation. Inside their makeshift laboratory, a dome bustling with holographic displays and cutting-edge technology, Alara and Kalen sat across from each other. The air was thick with unspoken tension, not from hostility, but from the gravity of their discoveries. "These symbols," Kaelin began, pointing to a hologram projecting intricate patterns found etched into Martian rocks. "They resemble ancient Earth glyphs, yet they pulsate with an energy signature we've never encountered." Alara leaned forward, her eyes tracing the glowing lines. "It's as if they're speaking to us through time and space." Kaelin shook his head slightly, his skepticism wavering. "You think they're trying to communicate? With us?" "Why not?" Alara countered gently. "We've always assumed we're alone in the universe. But what if these entities are remnants of an ancient intelligence? What if they're guiding us?" Kaelin's gaze softened as he considered her perspective. "It's a compelling thought, Alara, but without empirical evidence." "Empirical evidence," Alara interrupted with a hint of frustration, "isn't always immediate or tangible. Sometimes we have to trust our instincts and let them lead us to understanding." Their eyes locked, a silent battle of wills tempered by mutual respect. The tension between their scientific rigor and open-mindedness hung in the air like a delicate balance waiting to tip. Scene 3. Resolution or twist. As night descended upon Mars, the sky erupted in a spectacle of auroras dancing across the horizon. Alara and Kaelin stood side by side outside their dome, their breaths visible in the chilly Martian air. "Look," Alara whispered, pointing towards a faint luminescence near a distant cliff. Ghostly figures, ethereal and translucent, moved gracefully within the aurora's embrace. Kaelin's eyes widened, disbelief mingling with wonder. "Are they real?" Alara nodded slowly, her voice soft yet firm. "Real or imagined, they hold truths we have yet to uncover." For a moment, they watched in silence, each lost in their thoughts. Then Kaelin spoke, his tone thoughtful and introspective. "Perhaps you're right. Maybe some things transcend our current understanding." Alara smiled gently, feeling a shift in their dynamic, a shared acceptance that bridged their differing views. "It's not about choosing sides, Kaelin. It's about embracing possibilities." He met her gaze with newfound openness. "Then let's embrace them together." Optional Scene 4, Aftermath Foreshadow. As they returned to their lab, the whispers seemed to follow them, a gentle reminder of the mysteries yet unsolved. Alara paused at the entrance, sensing a presence just beyond her perception. "Do you hear them?" she asked quietly. Kaelin hesitated before nodding. "I think I do." Together they stepped inside, ready to face whatever revelations awaited them on this cosmic journey. A journey that promised not only answers, but also deeper connections and profound truths about themselves and the universe they sought to understand. As the dome sealed shut behind them, the whispers grew louder, an invitation to explore further and discover what lay beyond the veil of reality. And somewhere in the vastness of space, secrets waited to be revealed. End of Chapter 34. The Echoes of Mars. Scene 1. Setup. The Martian night was a symphony of silence, punctuated by the soft hum of the team's equipment. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a newly formed azure lake, its surface mirroring the ethereal glow of auroras above. Her gaze drifted across the alien landscape, where the crimson cliffs stood as silent sentinels against the vastness of space. The air was crisp, carrying with it a whisper of potential, a promise of revelations yet to unfold. Alara's mind was a kaleidoscope of thoughts, each one spinning in tandem with the cosmic mysteries that surrounded her. The Comet 3I Atlas had transformed Mars into a living tapestry of life and possibility. But it was the spectral figures she had glimpsed, those ghostly apparitions that seemed to dance on the periphery of her vision, that captivated her most. Were they manifestations of her own psyche or echoes of an ancient intelligence reaching out across time? "Alara," came the voice of Dr. Kaelin Thorne, breaking her reverie. He approached with a cautious step, his expression a blend of curiosity and skepticism. "You've been out here for hours. What are you hoping to find?" Alara turned to face him, her eyes reflecting both the auroras and an inner fire. "Answers, Kaelin. Or maybe just more questions." Her voice was soft but resolute, carrying the weight of her relentless pursuit for understanding. Kaelin folded his arms, casting a glance at the lake. "And what if these ghosts are just tricks of the light or remnants of your imagination? We're scientists, Alara. We deal in facts." She smiled, a mixture of warmth and challenge. "Facts are just the beginning, not the end. Sometimes we have to embrace the unknown to truly see." A A silence settled between them, thick with unspoken tension and mutual respect. It was a silence that held both conflict and camaraderie, setting the stage for what lay ahead. Back at their makeshift base camp, Alara and Kaelin sat amidst holographic displays and data streams that flickered like spectral apparitions themselves. The room was dimly lit, shadows playing across their faces as they engaged in a dialogue that was both familiar and fraught with subtext. "You're suggesting these entities are communicating?" Kaelin queried, his tone edged with incredulity. "That they're more than just figments?" Alara leaned forward, her fingers tapping a rhythm on the table as if coaxing secrets from it. "I don't know what they are yet, but there's an intelligence behind those whispers. I can feel it." "Feeling isn't evidence," Kaelin countered, though his voice softened with an undercurrent of curiosity he couldn't quite suppress. "We need something tangible." Alara met his gaze steadily. "Do we? Perhaps what's tangible is merely our limited perception trying to categorize the uncategorizable." He sighed, rubbing his temples as if trying to massage away his doubts. "You know I respect your intuition, Alara, but this is beyond anything we've ever encountered." "Exactly," she replied, her eyes alight with determination. "That's why we must explore it, push beyond our boundaries." Their conversation danced around the edges of science and belief, neither willing to concede, yet both drawn inexorably toward the mysteries that beckoned. Scene 3. Resolution or twist? Later that evening, Alara ventured alone to one of the enigmatic structures that dotted the Martian landscape. It loomed before her like a monument from another era, its surface etched with symbols that pulsed faintly under her touch. As she traced her fingers along the markings, a sudden warmth spread through her hand, a sensation that was both comforting and unsettling. She closed her eyes, allowing herself to be enveloped by the moment. It was then that she heard it, a whisper so soft it could have been imagined. Yet it resonated within her, echoing in a language she couldn't comprehend yet instinctively understood. Her eyes snapped open, heart pounding as realization dawned upon her. This was no mere hallucination or quirk of her mind. It was a message, a connection reaching across the chasm of time and space. Returning to camp, she found Kaelin waiting, his expression expectant yet guarded. Without preamble, she shared her experience, words tumbling out in a rush as she described the ethereal encounter. Instead of dismissing it outright, Kaelin listened intently, his skepticism tempered by intrigue. For the first time, he glimpsed the possibility that perhaps there were forces at play beyond their scientific comprehension. "Maybe," he mused aloud, "we're looking at this all wrong. What if these phenomena are part of a larger design, one that incorporates both science and something more?" Alara's smile was one of gratitude and newfound understanding. "Together," she said softly, "we'll find out." Optional Scene 4, Aftermath Foreshadow. As night descended once more over Mars, Alara stood at the threshold of discovery and destiny. The stars above shimmered like cosmic beacons guiding her path. In that moment, she felt a profound sense of connection, not just to the mysteries of Mars, but to something greater than herself. It was as if the universe itself whispered encouragement, urging her onward. And as she gazed into the vast expanse of space, Alara knew that whatever awaited them, be it revelation or enigma, they would face it together, bound by shared purpose and an unyielding quest for truth. With renewed resolve and an open heart, she turned back toward camp where Kaelin waited, a partner in exploration and now an ally in embracing the wonders yet to come. The journey was far from over. Indeed, it had only just begun. Chapter 36, Whispers of the Cosmic Seed, Setup. The Martian twilight cast long shadows over the makeshift research base where Dr. Alara Voss stood gazing out at the shimmering landscape. The transformed planet was alive with a vibrancy that defied its barren past, and yet, beneath its newfound beauty, lay mysteries waiting to be unearthed. Her heart raced with anticipation as she prepared for the evening's exploration, a journey deeper into the enigmatic ruins that had become the focus of her quest. "Alara," Dr. Kaelin Thorne's voice cut through her reverie. He approached with a tablet in hand, his brow furrowed with a mix of curiosity and skepticism. "I've been analyzing the latest data from the atmospheric sensors. There's a pattern emerging, something like rhythmic pulses. It could be natural, but it might not be." Alara finished, her eyes alight with intrigue. What if these pulses are messages, or echoes of something ancient? Kalen hesitated, the scientist in him wrestling with the allure of such speculation. I suppose it's worth investigating, but we need to stay grounded in reality, Alara. We can't let ourselves get carried away. Grounded, yes, she replied softly, but open to possibilities. Let's see what these ruins can tell us tonight. As they prepared to venture forth, the sense of an unseen presence lingered in the air, a whisper of cosmic secrets that beckoned them onward. Scene 2, Confrontation. The ruins loomed ahead, their surfaces etched with symbols that glowed faintly in the darkness. As Alara and Kalen navigated through the labyrinthine corridors, their footsteps echoed like distant whispers. The atmosphere was thick with tension, both from the mysteries they sought to unravel and the unspoken conflict simmering between them. Do you ever wonder, Alara began, breaking the silence, if there's more to this universe than what we can measure or quantify? That maybe, just maybe, there's a consciousness guiding it all. Kalen paused, his gaze fixed on a particularly intricate carving. I wonder, he admitted reluctantly, but wondering doesn't make it true. We need evidence. And if the evidence is beyond our current understanding? Alara pressed gently. What then? He turned to face her, eyes searching for answers within her own. Then we expand our understanding. But we can't leap to conclusions without solid ground. Their exchange was interrupted by a sudden flicker of light. A ghostly figure materialized before them, its form shifting like mist in a breeze. It hovered silently, its presence both ethereal and unsettling. Alara felt a chill run down her spine, yet her voice remained steady. Do you see it too, Kalen? He nodded slowly, his skepticism momentarily eclipsed by awe. I do. The apparition seemed to regard them with an intelligence that transcended time and space, a silent sentinel bearing witness to the unfolding drama of their lives. Scene 3. Resolution or twist. As quickly as it appeared, the figure dissolved into the air, leaving behind an echoing silence. Alara and Kalen stood rooted in place, grappling with the implications of their encounter. What does this mean? Kalen asked, his voice tinged with newfound wonder. It means, Alara said thoughtfully, that we must consider all possibilities, even those that challenge our beliefs. Kalen's expression softened, a subtle shift in his perspective taking root. Perhaps you're right, there's more here than meets the eye. Their shared experience had forged an unspoken bond between them, a bridge between skepticism and belief that neither had anticipated. Let's continue exploring, Alara suggested, her resolve strengthened by their shared revelation. There's so much more to discover. As they moved deeper into the ruins, a sense of unity settled over them, a partnership grounded in mutual respect and a shared desire to uncover the truth. Optional Scene 4, Aftermath Foreshadow. Back at the research base, Alara sat alone under the Martian sky, contemplating the day's events. The stars above twinkled like distant beacons, each one a reminder of the vast cosmos that lay beyond. A soft breeze rustled the alien leaves nearby, carrying with it a whisper that seemed to speak directly to her soul, a promise of discoveries yet to come. Alara closed her eyes, letting herself be enveloped by the cosmic symphony around her. She felt a profound connection to something greater than herself, a force that transcended time and space, weaving together past, present, and future. In that moment of introspection, she knew that their journey was only beginning, and that the whispers of the cosmic seed held secrets beyond imagination. With renewed determination, Alara rose to her feet, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, confident that together, she and Kalen would uncover the truths hidden within the stars. End of Chapter 37, Whispers of the Unseen. Scene 1. Setup. Establish goal plus immediate conflict seed. The Martian dawn crept over the horizon, painting the crimson cliffs with a golden hue. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a newly formed lake, its surface mirroring the sky's transformation. The air was crisp and tinged with a scent she could only describe as otherworldly, a hint of something both ancient and new. Her heart thrummed with anticipation, knowing today could bring answers she had long sought. Her goal was clear: to decode the cryptic symbols etched into the structures that rose like sentinels across the landscape. These ruins held the key to understanding the comet's impact and perhaps the whispers of cosmic intent. Dr. Kalen Thorne approached, his usual air of skepticism softened by the ethereal beauty surrounding them. "Alara," he began, his voice a blend of curiosity and caution, "I've been analyzing the data from our last exploration. The energy signatures are unlike anything we've encountered." Alara nodded, her gaze fixed on the distant ruins. "It's as if they're alive, Kalen, pulsing with a rhythm that resonates beyond our comprehension." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "We need to proceed with caution. There's still so much we don't understand about these entities." A shadow of doubt crossed Alara's mind. Could these whispers be mere echoes of their own desires? Yet deep within, she felt a connection, a thread binding her to this place and its mysteries. Hantash Scene 2, Confrontation, dialogue-driven tension, subtext over exposition. Inside the main tent, holographic projections filled the air with swirling patterns, fractals that danced like cosmic specters. Alara and Kalen studied them intently, their faces illuminated by the soft glow. "These symbols," Kalen said, pointing to a particularly intricate design, "they seem to suggest a cycle, a rebirth." Alara leaned closer, tracing the lines with her finger. "Or a message left by those who came before us," she mused. "A guide to unlocking the secrets of life itself." Kalen hesitated, his scientific skepticism wrestling with the inexplicable. "Do you truly believe there's an intelligence behind this? Something more than random chance?" She met his gaze, her eyes reflecting both conviction and vulnerability. "I believe there's more to this universe than we can see or measure. These entities, they're trying to communicate with us. Or perhaps," he countered gently, "we're projecting our own hopes and fears onto phenomena we can't yet explain." Their conversation hovered between belief and doubt, each holding on to their truth while respecting the other's perspective. It was this tension, the push and pull of logic and faith, that drove them forward. Resolution or twist, relationship shift, new complication, leverage change. As they stepped outside, an unexpected sight greeted them. The sky above Mars shimmered with an aurora that danced in vibrant hues, a celestial ballet that seemed almost choreographed. Alara felt a presence beside her, an unseen force that whispered not in words but in emotions. Hope, longing, and an invitation to understand. Kalen watched in awe, his skepticism momentarily silenced by the sheer majesty before him. Perhaps there's room for both our views," he admitted quietly. Alara smiled softly, sensing a shift in their dynamic, a newfound openness that bridged their differing beliefs. "Together we'll find the truth," she affirmed. Yet even as they embraced this harmony, a new complication arose. Their instruments detected an anomaly, a pulse emanating from beneath the Martian surface. It was as if something slumbered there, waiting to be awakened. Optional Scene 4, Aftermath Foreshadow. As night settled over Mars, Alara sat by the lake once more, lost in contemplation. The stars above seemed to whisper secrets only she could hear, fragments of myths and echoes of legends. Beside her, Kalen joined in silence, their shared journey forging an unspoken bond. Together they watched as a shooting star streaked across the sky, a promise of discovery yet to come. In that moment, Alara felt the weight of destiny upon her shoulders. The path ahead was uncertain, filled with challenges and revelations beyond imagination. But within her heart burned a flame of hope, an unwavering belief in the possibility that they were part of something far greater than themselves. And so, under the watchful gaze of the cosmos, they prepared to delve deeper into the mysteries of Mars, ready to unravel the whispers of the unseen and embrace whatever truths lay hidden among the stars. Chapter 38, Whispers on the Martian Wind. Scene 1. The Martian dawn broke with an ethereal luminescence, casting long shadows across the alien terrain. Dr. Alara Voss stood on the precipice of a crimson cliff, her gaze fixed on the horizon where the azure lakes mirrored the awakening sky. The air was crisp, carrying with it a sense of anticipation that resonated in her very bones. "Alara," Dr. Kalen Thorne's voice broke the stillness, his silhouette emerging from the mist like a specter. "The team is ready for the day's exploration." Alara turned to face him, her expression a blend of determination and vulnerability. "Today feels different, Kalen. There's something in the air." Kalen raised an eyebrow, skepticism lacing his words. "You mean besides the thin atmosphere and trace elements we've yet to fully analyze?" She smiled, a flicker of amusement dancing in her eyes. Perhaps, but I've learned not to dismiss intuition so readily. Intuition or imagination? Kaelin challenged gently, though there was no malice in his tone. Maybe both, Alara conceded. But there's a whisper here, something calling to us. Their conversation was interrupted by a soft hum emanating from the nearby ruins, where cryptic symbols glowed faintly in the early light. It was as if Mars itself was stirring, its secrets poised on the brink of revelation. We should focus on mapping these structures today, Kaelin suggested, shifting into practical mode. There could be more to them than we realize. Alara nodded, yet her thoughts lingered on the whispers she felt in her heart, a call she couldn't quite decipher but knew she had to follow. Scene 2. Confrontation. Deep within the labyrinthine corridors of the ancient Martian ruins, Alara and Kaelin moved with cautious reverence. The air was thick with history, each step echoing through time. These symbols, Kaelin noted, tracing the intricate patterns etched into the walls, they're unlike anything we've seen before. Alara studied the glyphs, their meaning elusive yet tantalizingly close. They remind me of ancient Earth scripts, Sumerian or perhaps Egyptian. Kaelin chuckled softly. Are you suggesting an interstellar Rosetta Stone? Why not? Alara replied earnestly. History is full of connections we once thought impossible. Their dialogue was interrupted by a sudden chill, a breeze that swept through the chamber carrying with it an unmistakable whisper, a sound that was both foreign and familiar. Did you hear that? Alara's voice trembled slightly, her eyes wide with wonder. Kaelin hesitated, his scientific mind grappling with what he couldn't explain. It's just the wind, he insisted, though uncertainty shadowed his words. Alara stepped forward, drawn by an invisible force. No, it's something more, she murmured. A voice, or maybe many voices. Kaelin watched her, a conflict waging within him, between logic and the undeniable presence that surrounded them. Alara, he began, but words failed him as a ghostly figure materialized before them, an ethereal being whose form shimmered like stardust. Neither spoke as they beheld the apparition, its eyes reflecting the cosmos itself. In that moment, doubt and belief collided, leaving only silence in their wake. Scene 3. Resolution lingered for a heartbeat longer before dissolving into a cascade of luminescent particles that danced through the air like fireflies. Alara and Kaelin remained rooted in place, their minds reeling from what they had witnessed. How do we explain this? Kaelin finally asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Alara met his gaze, her expression one of serene acceptance. Perhaps we don't need to explain it, she replied. Perhaps it's enough to experience it. Kaelin sighed, a wry smile tugging at his lips. You're going to drive me mad with this mystical nonsense, you know? And yet here you are, Alara teased gently, her eyes twinkling with warmth. Their shared laughter echoed through the ruins, a sound that carried with it a newfound understanding between them. In that moment, their relationship shifted subtly, trust woven into the fabric of their companionship. As they made their way back towards the Martian surface, Alara felt a sense of peace settle over her. The whispers were no longer just echoes. They were a part of her journey, a journey intertwined with both discovery and healing. Optional Scene 4. Aftermath Foreshadow. Under the Martian night sky, Alara stood alone at the edge of an azure lake. The auroras danced above her, painting the heavens with vibrant hues that spoke of possibilities yet to come. She closed her eyes, listening to the whispers that had become her constant companions, the voices of Mars and perhaps something greater beyond. In that quiet moment, Alara knew that their journey was far from over. There were still secrets to uncover and truths to be revealed, truths that would challenge everything she thought she knew about life and its origins. With renewed resolve, she turned away from the lake and headed back towards their base camp, ready to face whatever lay ahead with courage and hope. For in the whispers of the cosmic seed lay not only answers, but also the promise of connection, a connection that spanned time and space, linking humanity to the stars themselves. And as Alara walked beneath the starlit sky, she felt a whisper in her heart, a whisper that urged her onward into the unknown. Chapter 39, Whispers of the Ethereal. Set up. The Martian twilight cast an ethereal glow over the base camp, painting the newly formed lakes and crimson cliffs in shades of violet and gold. Dr. Alara Voss stood on a ridge, her gaze fixed on the horizon where the comet's impact had breathed life into the barren landscape. The air was crisp, carrying with it whispers that seemed to echo in her mind, a symphony of secrets waiting to be unraveled. "Alara," called Dr. Kalen Thorne, approaching with a cautious stride. His voice was laced with a mix of skepticism and awe as he gestured towards the distant ruins. "The symbols are glowing again. The readings are off the charts." Alara turned to face him, her expression a blend of determination and intrigue. "It's as if they're calling to us, Kalen. We need to understand what they're trying to convey." Kalen's brow furrowed, his scientific mind wrestling with the inexplicable phenomena they faced. "You still believe these are messages? Perhaps there's a rational explanation, something we've missed." Alara nodded, acknowledging his perspective. "Perhaps, but there's more at play here than just science. I feel it in my bones." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden gust of wind, carrying with it a faint, melodic hum that seemed to resonate from the very ground beneath their feet. Alara's eyes widened, a flicker of recognition sparking within her. "The spirits," she whispered, her heart racing with both fear and anticipation. Kalen hesitated, his skepticism wavering in the face of the unexplainable. "You really believe they're alive?" Alara met his gaze, her voice steady. "Alive or echoes of something greater. Either way, they hold answers we can't ignore." Scene 2. Confrontation. Back at the base camp, Alara and Kalen gathered their team around the holographic display table. The air was thick with tension as they reviewed the latest data from their instruments. "We've detected fluctuations in the electromagnetic fields," Kalen explained, pointing to the pulsing graphs. "But none of it aligns with known phenomena." Dr. Miriam Lee, their geologist, leaned forward, her curiosity piqued. "Could it be linked to the comet's materials? Something we've yet to discover?" Alara shook her head gently. "It's more than that. These patterns, they're rhythmic, almost intentional." "Intentional," Kalen echoed, a hint of disbelief in his tone. "Alara, you're suggesting intelligence." "Not suggesting," Alara corrected softly, exploring the possibility. The room fell silent, each team member grappling with the implications of her words. Kalen broke the silence, his voice firm yet tinged with uncertainty. "Even if there is some form of intelligence here, how do we communicate? How do we know we're interpreting their messages correctly?" Alara sighed, her resolve unwavering despite the doubts surrounding her. "We start by listening, truly listening, and then we trust our instincts." "These patterns," Alara murmured, tracing a finger along one of the glowing lines, "they remind me of constellations, ancient ones from Earth's mythology." Kalen peered closer, his analytical mind processing the data rapidly. "It's as if someone wanted to communicate across time and space, using symbols we might recognize," he mused aloud. Alara nodded, a mix of hope and determination in her eyes. "Exactly, but why? And what are they trying to tell us?" Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden flicker of light, a spectral figure materializing before them. It hovered silently, its form shifting like mist caught in a gentle breeze. The apparition exuded an aura of tranquility and wisdom, its presence both unsettling and strangely comforting. "Do you see it?" Alara whispered, her voice barely above a breath. Kalen hesitated before nodding slowly. "I do," he admitted, his skepticism momentarily silenced by the undeniable reality of their shared vision. The figure gestured toward the symbols, its movements fluid and deliberate. Alara felt a surge of understanding as if the entity was guiding her thoughts. "This is more than science," she said softly, turning to Kalen with newfound conviction. "It's a bridge, a connection between worlds." Kalen regarded her thoughtfully, his own doubts beginning to erode under the weight of their experience. "Perhaps there's more truth in myth than we realized," he conceded. Scene 3. Resolution or twist. As dawn approached, Alara and Kalen emerged from the structure, their minds buzzing with revelations and questions alike. The encounter with the apparition had shifted something fundamental within them, an awakening to possibilities beyond empirical evidence. "We need to rethink our approach," Kalen said, his tone now one of collaboration rather than opposition. "Combine what we know with what we feel." Alara smiled, grateful for his openness. "Together," she agreed, sensing the strengthening bond between them, a partnership forged through shared discovery and mutual respect. Their conversation was interrupted by a distant rumble, a tremor that rippled through the ground beneath their feet. The lake's surface quivered, reflecting a sky now painted with vibrant auroras that danced like ethereal spirits. "What was that?" Kaelin asked, scanning the horizon for signs of disturbance. Alara's gaze lingered on the shimmering lights above. "A reminder," she replied enigmatically, feeling an inexplicable certainty that Mars held more secrets yet to be revealed. Optional Scene 4. Aftermath Foreshadow. As the sun rose over Mars's reborn landscape, Alara stood alone at the lake's edge once more, her thoughts a tapestry woven from past and future threads. She sensed a presence beside her, not quite tangible but undeniably real. Her father's voice echoed softly in her mind, a whisper carried on the cosmic winds. "Keep searching," it urged gently. "The answers lie within." With renewed purpose, Alara turned back toward the structures where her team awaited. Their journey far from over, but now guided by a shared vision that transcended science and spirit alike. In that moment, she understood that their quest was not just for knowledge but for connection, to each other, to Mars, and perhaps even to those who had come before them. Echoes of an ancient cosmic seed whispering through time. Chapter 41, The Echoes of Mars. Scene 1, Setup. The Martian twilight cast elongated shadows across the crimson cliffs, the fading sun painting the landscape in hues of gold and rust. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a newly formed azure lake, contemplating the task ahead. Her goal was clear: decipher the cryptic symbols etched into the structures that had emerged from the Martian soil, a riddle left by an ancient intelligence, if such a force existed at all. Yet, beneath her determination lay an undercurrent of conflict. The whispers that had haunted her dreams since their arrival grew louder, their messages more urgent. Were they figments of her imagination, remnants of her unresolved grief over her father's disappearance? Or did they hold the key to unlocking the secrets of the cosmic seed? Alara's thoughts were interrupted by the approach of Dr. Kaelin Thorne, his footsteps barely audible on the soft Martian sand. "Alara," he greeted, his voice a blend of skepticism and curiosity. "Have you made any progress with the symbols?" She turned to face him, her expression a mixture of hope and frustration. "I've identified some patterns, but their meaning eludes me. It's as if they want to tell us something, but we're not listening correctly." Kaelin nodded, his analytical mind already at work. "Perhaps we're missing a piece of the puzzle, something that connects these symbols to the comet's impact. Or perhaps," Alara mused, "we need to listen with more than just our minds." As she spoke, a gentle breeze stirred the air around them, carrying with it a faint melody, a whisper of a song that seemed both familiar and otherworldly. Alara caught Kaelin's eye, a silent understanding passing between them. The echoes of Mars were calling, and they would need to answer. Scene 2, Confrontation. Inside the temporary research habitat, the tension was palpable. Holographic projections of the mysterious symbols hovered between Alara and Kaelin as they debated their significance. "You're suggesting these symbols are messages from some kind of cosmic consciousness?" Kaelin's tone was incredulous, yet there was a glimmer of intrigue in his eyes. Alara met his gaze steadily. "Why not? We've already seen life emerge from barren soil. Why not communication from an ancient intelligence?" Kaelin sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I just can't accept it without evidence. There must be a logical explanation. Perhaps a geological phenomenon or an undiscovered property of the comet's materials." "But what if logic isn't enough?" Alara pressed, her voice soft yet insistent. "What if some truths exist beyond our current understanding? We can't dismiss what we can't explain." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden flicker in the hologram, a distortion that seemed to pulse in rhythm with the whispers they had heard outside. Both scientists froze, watching as the symbols rearranged themselves into new configurations. "Did you see that?" Kaelin breathed, his skepticism momentarily overshadowed by awe. Alara nodded, her heart racing. "It's as if they're responding to us, to our emotions and intentions." For a moment, silence enveloped them, filled only by the low hum of the habitat's systems. Then Kaelin spoke, his voice tinged with reluctant acceptance. "Perhaps there's more to this than we realized. We need to approach this with an open mind, consider all possibilities." Alara smiled, a warmth spreading through her chest. In that moment, their relationship shifted, a newfound trust forged in the fires of shared wonder. Scene 3, Resolution or twist? As night descended on Mars, Alara and Kaelin ventured back to the site of the mysterious structures. The air was crisp and charged with anticipation, each breath an affirmation of life in this alien world. Standing before the largest structure, Alara reached out to touch its surface. The symbols glowed faintly beneath her fingertips, and she felt a surge of connection, a bridge between worlds. Beside her, Kaelin did the same, his skepticism giving way to curiosity. Together, they listened to the whispers that surrounded them, an ethereal symphony that resonated with their very souls. Suddenly, a vision unfolded before their eyes, a tapestry of stars and galaxies interwoven with threads of light. In that instant, Alara understood. The symbols were not mere messages, but a map, a guide to understanding the cosmic seed's purpose. "We're part of something much greater," she whispered, tears glistening in her eyes. Kaelin nodded, his own expression one of reverence. "And it's up to us to carry this knowledge forward." With renewed purpose, they turned back toward their habitat, ready to share their discoveries with their team and the world beyond. Scene 4. Aftermath Foreshadow. As Alara lay in her bunk that night, she felt a deep sense of peace, a feeling she hadn't experienced since her father's disappearance. The whispers had quieted, replaced by a gentle lullaby that lulled her into a restful sleep. In her dreams, she saw her father standing amidst the stars, his face serene and full of wisdom. He reached out to her, and though she knew it was only a dream, she felt his presence as surely as if he were there beside her. "Trust your instincts," his voice echoed in her mind. "The answers you seek are within you." When Alara awoke, she knew that her journey was far from over. The echoes of Mars had set her on a path toward understanding, not just of the cosmos, but of herself and her place within it. And as she gazed out at the Martian dawn, she felt a renewed sense of hope, a belief that whatever lay ahead, she would face it with courage and an open heart. Whispers in the starlight. Setup. The Martian night unfolded like a velvet curtain, the sky a tapestry of shimmering stars and vibrant auroras that danced across the horizon. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of the azure lake, her reflection merging with the bioluminescent flora that pulsed gently beneath the water's surface. The air was crisp, carrying with it the whispers of an ancient presence that seemed to linger just beyond the threshold of perception. Alara's heart was a storm of emotions, anticipation mingled with a familiar undercurrent of longing. Her goal was clear: to decipher the cryptic symbols etched into the structures that rose from the Martian soil, their meanings as elusive as the ghostly figures she had glimpsed in the shadows. But there was something more, an immediate conflict that gnawed at her resolve. Dr. Kaelin Thorne, her trusted colleague and skeptic, had grown increasingly distant, his skepticism bordering on outright dismissal of their experiences. She turned to find Kaelin approaching, his silhouette framed by the ethereal glow of the Martian landscape. "Kaelin," she called softly, her voice barely rising above the gentle rustle of alien leaves. "We need to talk." He halted a few paces away, his expression unreadable in the dim light. "About what, Alara? More ghost stories?" His tone was teasing, but carried an edge that hinted at deeper frustrations. Alara took a deep breath, choosing her words carefully. "About what we've seen, what we've felt. These entities, these whispers, they're not just figments of our imagination." Kaelin crossed his arms, skepticism etched into every line of his face. "You know I respect you, Alara, but I can't accept explanations that lack empirical evidence. We should focus on what we can measure and understand." The tension between them crackled like static electricity, yet beneath it lay a shared history of collaboration and mutual respect. Alara knew she had to bridge this divide if they were to unravel Mars's mysteries together. Confrontation. They walked in silence towards the towering cliffs, their path illuminated by the soft glow of bioluminescent plants. The night seemed alive with potential, each shadow a possible doorway to understanding or madness. "Kaelin," Alara began again, her voice steady but filled with urgency. "What if these experiences, these entities, are part of something bigger? Something that transcends our current understanding?" Kaelin paused, his gaze fixed on the horizon where stars whispered secrets to those who dared listen. "Are you suggesting we abandon science for superstition?" No, Alara replied, her tone firm yet gentle. I'm suggesting we expand our definition of science. Consider that there might be forces at play here that challenge our conventional frameworks. He turned to her, eyes searching hers for sincerity or folly. And what do you propose we do with these forces, assuming they exist? Listen, Alara said simply. Listen to what they have to tell us. Kalen's skepticism wavered, replaced by a flicker of curiosity, a seed planted amidst his doubt. And what if we're just projecting our own desires onto this place? That's possible, Alara admitted, but isn't it worth exploring every possibility? If there's even a chance we could uncover something profound. Her words hung between them like a fragile bridge, inviting Kalen to step forward or retreat into his fortress of logic. Scene 3, resolution or twist. As they reached the cliffs, the air shimmered with an almost tangible energy, a presence that seemed to hum with anticipation. Alara placed a hand on the cool stone surface, tracing the symbols that glowed faintly under her touch. In that moment, something shifted, a resonance that vibrated through her very core. She felt Kalen's presence beside her, his skepticism momentarily eclipsed by wonder. Suddenly a figure emerged from the shadows, a translucent form that hovered between reality and myth. It moved with grace, its features indistinct yet undeniably human. The apparition extended a hand towards them, its gesture both an invitation and a challenge. Alara glanced at Kalen, who met her gaze with newfound resolve. Together they stepped forward, driven by a shared determination to seek answers beyond the veil of certainty. The entity spoke, not with words, but with an impression that filled their minds like music echoing through a vast cathedral. Images flickered before their eyes, stars being born in cosmic nurseries, planets seeded with life by unseen hands, and a tapestry of connections spanning galaxies. Kalen's skepticism dissolved in the face of such overwhelming evidence, or perhaps it was simply the promise of discovery that bridged the gap between belief and understanding. Scene 4, Aftermath Foreshadow. As dawn broke over Mars's transformed landscape, Alara and Kalen stood side by side, their differences temporarily set aside in light of what they had witnessed. "We're on the brink of something extraordinary," Alara murmured, her heart swelling with hope and determination. Kalen nodded, his expression thoughtful yet open. "Whatever this is, it's beyond anything I ever imagined." They returned to their base camp with renewed purpose, their minds alive with possibilities and questions yet unanswered. As they prepared to delve deeper into Mars' mysteries, they knew one thing for certain: the journey ahead would demand courage and open-mindedness in equal measure. And somewhere in the distance, the whispers continued, an echo of cosmic secrets waiting to be unveiled by those willing to listen. With this chapter closed, Dr. Alara Voss and Dr. Kalen Thorne stand united on the cusp of discovery, their relationship transformed by the mysteries they've begun to unravel together. Yet as they venture further into the unknown, new challenges and revelations await, each step bringing them closer to understanding the true nature of life and its origins among the stars. Scene 1, Setup. The Martian dawn unfurled across the horizon like a painter's brushstroke, casting an ethereal glow over the alien landscape. Dr. Alara Voss stood at the edge of a newly formed azure lake, her breath visible in the crisp air. The delicate bioluminescent flora pulsated gently beneath her feet, whispering secrets in a language she yearned to understand. Alara's mind was a whirlpool of thoughts as she contemplated the day's mission. She turned to Dr. Kalen Thorne, who was busy calibrating a holographic device that projected shimmering data streams into the air. Despite their differences, they shared a common goal: to uncover the truths hidden within Mars' transformed surface. "Today's the day we explore the ruins," Alara announced, her voice steady but tinged with anticipation. The structures that rose from the Martian soil had become an obsession, their cryptic symbols promising answers to questions that haunted her dreams. Kalen nodded, though his skepticism was palpable. "I'm curious what we'll find, if anything," he replied, adjusting his glasses as if to sharpen his focus on the tangible rather than the mystical. Alara felt the familiar tug of tension between them, a dance of logic and intuition that defined their relationship. "These ruins could hold the key to understanding the comet's purpose," she insisted, her tone both hopeful and resolute. As they prepared for the journey, a shadow passed over them, a fleeting silhouette against the dawn sky. Alara paused, sensing an unseen presence that stirred her soul. She glanced at Kalen, who seemed oblivious, his mind tethered to empirical evidence. "Did you see that?" she asked softly, her eyes scanning the heavens. Kalen shrugged, dismissing it as a trick of light. "Probably just an atmospheric anomaly," he said, though Alara couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched by more than just the stars. Scene 2, Confrontation. The path to the ruins was treacherous, winding through canyons of crimson rock and fields of alien vegetation. As they navigated the terrain, Alara and Kalen engaged in their usual banter, a blend of scientific debate and philosophical inquiry. "I still don't understand why you're so convinced these ghostly figures are more than hallucinations," Kalen said, his voice laced with skepticism. Alara smiled wryly, her eyes fixed on the path ahead. "Because I've felt their presence, Kalen. It's like they're trying to communicate something profound, something beyond our understanding." Kalen chuckled, though there was no malice in his tone. "Or perhaps it's our minds playing tricks on us in this strange environment." Their dialogue carried them forward, each word a step closer to their destination. Yet beneath the surface, subtext simmered, a clash of worldviews that mirrored their inner struggles. As they approached the ruins, Alara paused, her gaze drawn to the intricate symbols etched into the stone. They glowed faintly under the starlight, as if inviting her to decipher their meaning. "These symbols, they're not random," Alara murmured, tracing a finger along their lines. Kalen joined her, studying the markings with a critical eye. They could be anything, ancient graffiti or weather patterns. Alara shook her head, determination shining in her eyes. "No, there's a pattern here, a language waiting to be unlocked." Their debate intensified as they worked side by side, each challenging the other's perceptions while seeking common ground. It was a dance of intellect and intuition, a testament to their shared quest for truth. Scene 3, Resolution or Twist. Hours passed as they deciphered the symbols, their efforts yielding unexpected insights. Alara's intuition guided them through the labyrinth of meanings, while Kalen's analytical mind pieced together fragments of logic. Finally, they reached a breakthrough, a sequence that resonated with both science and myth. It spoke of creation and rebirth, of cosmic forces shaping worlds in ways beyond comprehension. Alara looked at Kalen, her eyes alight with discovery. "Do you see it now? This isn't just chance, it's deliberate design." Kalen hesitated, his skepticism wavering in the face of undeniable evidence. For the first time, he glimpsed the possibility that Alara's ethereal encounters held truth beyond rational explanation. "I suppose there's more to this than I imagined," Kalen admitted, his voice tinged with newfound wonder. Their relationship shifted in that moment, a bridge formed between skepticism and belief. It was a silent acknowledgement of their shared journey toward understanding, a journey that transcended mere science and embraced the mysteries of existence. Optional Scene 4, Aftermath Foreshadow. Under the cover of night, they made their way to the ruins, a series of towering monoliths rising from the Martian soil like ancient sentinels. The symbols etched into their surfaces glowed faintly in the starlight, casting an ethereal glow that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. As they approached, Alara felt a familiar tug at her consciousness, a sensation as though something or someone was trying to communicate with her. She glanced at Kalen, who was busy setting up an array of sensors around the site. "Kalen," she whispered, "do you ever wonder if there's more to this than we can see? Something beyond our understanding?" He paused, considering her words. "I wonder all the time," he admitted, his voice tinged with an unexpected vulnerability. "But wondering and believing are two different things." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden shift in the atmosphere, a palpable tension that crackled in the air like static electricity. The symbols on the monoliths flared brighter, casting intricate patterns of light and shadow across their faces. Alara stepped closer, reaching out to trace one of the glowing glyphs with her fingertips. As she did, a vision flickered before her eyes, a fleeting glimpse of ghostly figures moving through a verdant landscape, their presence both comforting and unsettling. "Did you see that?" she asked breathlessly, turning to Kalen. He shook his head, but there was a hint of awe in his eyes. "No, but I felt something," he confessed, "like a ripple through my mind. They stood in silence for a moment, each grappling with their own interpretations of what had just transpired. The tension between belief and skepticism hung heavy between them, yet it was this very tension that drove them forward. Scene 3. Resolution or twist. The encounter at the ruins left Alara with more questions than answers. As they made their way back to their base camp, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the cusp of something monumental, an understanding that could redefine everything they knew about life and its origins. Once inside the safety of their shelter, Kalen broke the silence. "Alara," he began cautiously, "what if these entities, these whispers, are echoes of our own consciousness, projections of our desires and fears?" Alara considered this for a moment before responding. "Or perhaps," she countered gently, "they are reflections of something greater, a cosmic consciousness reaching out to us through these symbols." Kalen's expression softened as he met her gaze. "You always see the universe as a tapestry of possibilities," he said with a touch of admiration. "And you see it as an intricate puzzle waiting to be solved," Alara replied warmly. Their exchange marked a subtle shift in their relationship, an unspoken agreement to embrace both wonder and reason as they continued their quest for truth. Aftermath, foreshadow. As Alara lay awake that night, staring up at the Martian sky through the transparent dome of their habitat, she felt a profound sense of connection to Kalen, to Mars, and to whatever forces lingered beyond the veil of reality. In the stillness, she heard it again, the whispers calling out from the cosmos, urging her to look deeper, to listen harder. And she knew that their journey was far from over. Tomorrow would bring new challenges and discoveries, but for now she found solace in the knowledge that they were not alone in this vast universe. Together with Kalen and their team, they would unravel the mysteries that lay hidden among the stars. With this comforting thought, Alara closed her eyes and let herself drift into dreams woven from stardust and whispers, dreams that promised hope and illumination in equal measure.